So, are we live? I was going to play it twice, but I figured once was enough, actually, with the 30 seconds in front. This stream doesn't need a long intro, because it's going to be a relatively short stream, but hey, maybe for Series 2 I'll play it twice, and then I'll play it 5 times for Series 5, and then when we get to Series 9, let's just all hold our horses for a second. What exactly are you watching here? What is happening? I don't even know if anyone is watching this. Let's go turn my microphone down. I think my mic's a little bit loud. Everything's a bit loud. But, to whoever is seeing this, welcome to Doctor Who Tierlist Series 1 Debate Direct Bonus. Okay, the title might need work, but I have had this idea for a while, and it's finally happening, because I finally got around to finishing Doctor Who Series 1. You see, Debate Direct is a weird series, and again, I need to do some self-reflection, and I need to really, like, rework some things in the new year, because I was looking at things recently, and I realized, you know, why are Debate Directs numbered? They really don't need to be numbered if you really... Whoa! Wrong one, sorry. If you really think about it, the Debate Direct series does not need to be numbered. It's not a linear series. It's not like a story, which you watch episode 1, then episode 2, then episode 3. You dive in and out of whichever ones. I think keeping track of how many episodes I've done is neat, and I think I might keep the numbers in the thumbnail since it's been such a long tradition that it's way too late to change now. But I might get rid of the numbers from the titles, I don't know. I might keep it going to 100 just for consistency. But I'm beginning to think, man, we don't really need that anymore. But I tell you what, something that I'm very excited to share. Why is this not at the top? Okay, that's weird. Is that in the past we've actually done bonus episodes of Debate Direct. I just kind of lopped on the numbers because I kind of the thing is I just started with numbers because I thought why not, and I just by the time that I realized that there was no point. I mean, by now I'm on like 80 episodes. It's like way too many. Like I don't know. I didn't think about it. I thought, well, every series is numbered, so why not this one? I didn't even think about it. But there have actually been bonus Debate Direct episodes before, and I don't know if I could find it here. Well, we did like a chess stream. It was like me and Tasha were playing chess, and it was like a Debate Direct bonus, I think. It had the same, like, formatting. You see that? And honestly, really stretching the definition of Debate Direct here. But what's really happening that I want to talk about, what's really happening right now, is that I'm starting an entirely new series, which is going to use the same format as Debate Direct, and have a lot in common, but it's not actually going to be a part of the main series. It will be on the playlist, but they won't be numbered episodes. In fact, they're even going to have their own playlist, which I've created right here, and that is my series of Doctor Who episode tier lists. So we are going to be going series by series, episode by episode, ranking and rating every Doctor Who episode. Let me just read out the description for you fellas. Alright, let me just read this out. The iconic and historic British Sci-Fi TV show will mark its 60th anniversary in 2023. So in the lead up to this special occasion, I will be rewatching, reviewing, and ranking every episode of Doctor Who from Series 1 to Series 10. Starting with the launch of New Who in 2005, today we'll be discussing all of Series 1, including the Christmas special. So join me and my companions as we delve into everything from Rose to the Christmas invasion. And you might be wondering, who are these companions who are tagged in the description below? You see these? Who are these mysterious... I can hear voices. The voices in my head, guys. Who are these mysterious companions? Well, I think you might not recognize them. You're live. Hello. Welcome. Sorry to surprise you like that, but I figured, well, I've kept you waiting long enough. Guys, we have True Player and Potato, Ethan and Tasha with us today. How are you guys?
My internet die off something.
Potato, you first. Alphabetical order by username, even though it's the other way around for real name. I can't bring up your channel. Wow. This is Sag. Big Sag. I know what to do.
It's okay, there's one thing on there, it's really not that big a deal.
Yeah, well, I didn't know what else to credit you as, but yeah, how you doing?
You're all good, you're all good. I'm alright, thanks, yeah, I'm vibing.
Right. We've still got that one video. Hey, Matt, watch this. I'm gonna watch this every time it's brought up. I'm obligated to. It says, hey, Matt, watch this. Watching it without sound, though.
It's called that.
Yeah.
Right.
Anyway. But yeah, and obviously, if you guys don't know who this guy is, you've been living under a rock. Ethan, my guy.
That's hydration heresy if you don't know who Ethan is.
Yeah, because, like, literally, DJ is, like, the only person who I think has, like, done more collabs with me than, like, True Player. In fact, it might be the other way around, honestly. It's very close. I've never gone and counted. How are you doing? Hello?
I think he's having internet issues.
I'm still here.
Oh, no, he's here.
He's having internet issues or something. Okay. As long as we can hear you and everything, and you can hear us, and it's all goody. Yeah, you actually recently did a Doctor Who related upload, which was pretty much a request from me. I had this idea for a long time that I wanted to do myself, but then I didn't. So I told Ethan about it, and he actually went and did it. The mad lads. And he didn't... Did you actually play this live while you were playing? Did you record it at the same time?
What I did, so I couldn't actually record this, was I was playing the game, and then I had my headphones on, which the headphones I used while using my Xbox controller, and then underneath those I had my earphones plugged into my phone while playing The Shepherd's Boy and listening to both at the same time.
Oh, that's crazy. But, like, you didn't edit it in, did you?
I had to edit it in because I could only record the actual game, not the music at the same time. So you
actually listened to it while playing, and then you edit it in anyway. That's amazing.
Yeah, it's essentially the same thing.
That's awesome. That you so this is actually what we are seeing in this video is not only Ethan being a god at UCN, but also the effect of the Shepherd's Boy on the UCN experience.
This is how it feels playing 50/20 mode for the first.
Someone's gonna like hyperanalyze your like mouse movements and stuff in this to see how the Shepherd's Boy changed your performance. But yeah, no, this is excellent. This like I'm gonna be honest with you guys. You know, no commentary for FNAF. Like it's not really a type of video I watch much because I've seen it all before. But what I did with this video is something I very rarely do with Ethan's 50/20 videos. I actually sat through and watched the whole thing start to finish in full screen with headphones on. It was an experience. I highly recommend. I'm gonna give him the watch time again since I'm on here. I'm gonna watch that without actually watching it. And yeah, you can see my comment. And yeah, it's just it fits perfectly. Tash, did I ever tell you about this? The Shepherd's Boy with 50/20.
I don't think you did.
Imagine a live action scene of like William Afton like breaking the wall, you know, of like Golden Freddy's like void hell thing. I mean, it just fits perfectly.
I think to get to the episode that's in. Wasn't it Heaven Sent?
Heaven Sent, yeah. We're a long way away from that. But yeah, I don't see anybody in chat, but for those of you watching, we are, over the course of the next year, going to be doing 10 of these, rating every single episode from Rose to Twice Upon a Time. I'm skipping the Chibnall era. It was too recent. It sucked. I don't feel like rewatching any of that. And there's a lot of stuff that I've actually forgotten from over the years, which I've needed to rewatch. And rewatching Series 1, oh my goodness, it's been an experience. It's been an absolute joy. Like, I was wondering, man, am I going to have my childhood ruined? Was I blinded by nostalgia? Or, like, is this as good as it really, you know, as my parents said it was? And I was not disappointed. Couple other disclaimers before we begin. I know I played the Doctor Who theme tune at the beginning, and you guys might be thinking, hang on, Matt, that's going to demonetize the video. And yes, it will. I tested it last night. But I think what I'm going to do is mute it after I finish uploading this. So if you come here live, you can enjoy the Who music, but I can still monetize afterwards for ad revenue if that's a problem. But also, I've got plenty of other monetized streams. I'm not really fussed. I might just leave it there. Also, I am actually... I posted... Oh, wow, what a song to start on. Alpha. Just going to turn this down a bit because that is quite loud.
I had an idea like a few days ago where I beat 50/20 mode, but in editing, I take out all the sounds and then replace every sound with Minecraft sounds.
Yes! That would be amazing, dude. I would watch the hell out of that.
So funny.
You should put, like, if you could, edit the Minecraft HUD over it with, like, the hearts and the hunger bar or something. That'd be amazing.
I'll try. I'll see what I can do.
I will help you if you want. I will edit that, or at least I'll edit the visuals. I would be happy to do that.
I think I could edit the audio.
Yeah, the audio is a lot of work though. I'd be like, oh, it'd take forever. But yeah,
play mode so peaceful.
True. I also wanted to say, I've recently posted on the Hydration Nation. You guys might have seen this. Was it discussion 1? No, it's out of context. Yeah, so I finally hit the character limit with the debate direct description. You know how it's like really long because of all the music credits and stuff? Again, I think I need to optimize like next year how I like write this all. I think I'm going to try and compress this, but I've actually added the Doki Doki Literature Club soundtrack to the ambient non-gaming background music now. So we've got Minecraft, Celeste, DDLC, some other C418, Lena Rain stuff. We got all of the stuff from the YouTube audio library and Kevin McLeod. So, yeah, guys, if you have any suggestions, I want to keep growing this playlist, and I might throw in like Undertale stuff in future. That would be pretty neat, I think. Anyways, that's all I wanted to say. I think that's everything. So obviously, before we begin, the tier list is in the description if you want to make one for yourself. I've found a certain set of tier lists on Tiermaker that cover all the episodes we need. Obviously, we've got today's charity shouts out, all that, and the QOTD, which I just came up with. I think it's an interesting one. We'll talk about that all later. But yeah, Ethan, Tash, I'm going to just send you this in the Discord thread, and we will get started. Anything else you want to say before we begin?
Other than I've only gotten around to watching Rose, because I've been... Only
Hello?
watched Rose so far of Series 1. Wait, can you hear me?
You're glitching a little bit.
Oh, okay. I'm not sure what's going on with
Oh,
that.
where did Ethan go? Where True?
I think
True gone.
his internet died. Oh, he's back.
Okay.
He's in the audience.
Philip player. Hello.
But yeah, what I was saying was... Oh, he's gone again. No, but this is going well.
This is going amazingly.
Am I still breaking up?
Sorry, I have to keep. As someone, I got a scam call.
Oh.
I get those all the time, dude. It's okay. Is the audio balance okay, by the way? People watching the stream. I feel like it is, but I want you guys to check with me to be absolutely sure. Oh, and also I forgot to mention, I'm doing an SCP Secret Laboratory premiere an hour after the stream ends, because it's the Christmas and anniversary thing. I finally got the full video out. I was up late editing this, and it's rendered it overnight while I slept. It's finally ready. Just want to let you guys know that's the other thing that I want to mention. That's why this is open. Anyway, right, now we're good to start now. We're ready. I think I am. Let's ooh, what is this? Oh, that's weird. Let me just reset. Go into presentation mode. This is that's so much better. Oh, there we go. Okay, I'm ready. I'm ready to start when you are.
Alright.
Thank you. When we speak. Ah.
Come on. Oh.
Okay.
Alright. So, Tasha, so when was the last time you guys watched Doctor Who Series 1, actually? Tasha, you watched Rose recently,
I
but...
watched Rose the other day, but I've not had time to watch the rest of it because of work.
Mm.
So I was
I'd just been
meaning to
distracted by
binge Series 1. But...
Yeah.
I had just been distracted by Series 9 because I was focusing on the episodes that I hadn't actually watched yet.
Yes, you've been watching all the Capaldi era stuff, which is quite good. Again, I've rewatched the newer stuff less, because growing up, as I got older, we bought the DVDs less and we rewatched stuff less. So I'm actually less familiar with the newer stuff, like post 50th. I really want to rewatch the Capaldi era, because I only watched each of that like once. You know, while you guys are getting ready, I'm actually going to get these episodes in order. So, episode 1, Rose. Episode 2, The End of the World. Does anyone remember the order of the episodes?
Rose, The Unquiet Dead, Rose, The End of the World, The Unquiet Dead, Aliens of London, World War 3. I don't remember the next one.
Dalek?
Yes,
Yeah, Dalek.
it's Dalek.
I can't remember the name of the episode, but I know which one it is.
The Long Game?
Father's Day? Oh,
yeah, the Long Game. Yeah,
Father's Day is next, after the Long Game.
Father's Day is next.
Let me fact check that, actually.
Yeah, The Empty Child, The Doctor Dancers, Boomtown, Bad Wolf, and The Parting of the Ways.
Yes! Yeah. Oh, I just realized the Christmas special's not on this list for some reason. I couldn't find a better list, though, so we could just throw it in.
The Christmas specials preceding each of its respective season, they're considered the 0th episode of the next season.
Well, not according to BBC iPlayer, because here's the thing, guys. If we don't include the Christmas Invasion on this list as part of Series 1, then when we get to Series 10, we're going to have 2 Christmas specials, and it just will kind of like fall over. And it makes sense to include the first Christmas special with Series 1, right? But you are right. It is. I don't know. It's a bridge. It's a bridge between them.
I'm gonna take a look at the TARDIS fandom, the Doctor Who wiki.
It's on iPlayer, so I'm doing that because it makes more sense for the series. But yeah, if you I mean, it's a bit of an extra one anyway, because Christmas specials. I mean, it's just how it is. So Series 1. I'm trying to see if there's a better list that includes... The Christmas Invasion is included on that list, but I don't know if this user has created a list for all the series. They've done 1 to 4 that I can see.
At least to start then.
Oh, so the thing is, the tier lists that I'm using are grouped by which Doctor. So these are all the Eccleston episodes. Not series 1.
Weird.
That's
why would you not do it by
why.
series? What?
Well, because I could not find a comprehensive list. I want to make the series
like
consistent.
Them, not you,
Yeah, because like there's a lot of different tier lists, but like I want to have this series be consistent, and the best way I could do that was with the one I found. Because like there's some that have got like series 1 to 4 fine, but then there's no series 5 onwards, so it's like, no, that's not gonna work. Because when we get to series 5, we have to just completely change.
Like consistency.
Yeah.
Consistency is pog.
What I could try and do is actually find every single episode of New Who on one list.
That might get a bit messy because they're not always in order or like
exactly
coherently organized. So I would say hang fire on that.
Yeah, I don't know. That's the thing. I don't know what else to do. But like, this is the only time. This is the only time this is ever going to be an issue, because all the other Christmas specials will be in the same list.
It has the Christmas special.
Yeah, guys, this is the only time there's going to be an issue like this, because like there was never another time, right, where the Christmas special had a different Doctor to the rest of the series it was grouped in. But yeah, Christmas Invasion's over here, guys. So I'll just add it onto this other list. You know, and we'll talk about that. And again, we'll get to all the Dave episodes when we get there. But yeah. Alright, I think it's time we got started. We got plenty of time, to be fair. And yes, I looked at that exact list, Ethan. I see what you posted. But yeah, that's... I don't know, that one won't really do. But yeah, I think we should get on with this now. So, I rewatched all of Series 1 recently. What I'm doing, I'm going like, again, daily. 14 days in a row, I watch a series. I take 14 days off or so, and then I watch another series. I should have started Series 2 by now, but I'll do that in the new year. Tash, you watched Rose recently, but you haven't seen the others in years.
Yes. No, I haven't. So I'm kind of going in at this little weird angle that I've got a really fresh, like, sort of beginnings of a review for Rose even, and then the end of the world onwards. I'm like, I remember it in a Rose.
I wrote notes. I wrote paragraphs and paragraphs and paragraphs of notes. Ethan, what about you? When was the last time you watched these episodes?
I think I'd actually watched Rose more recently, because I think I'd say maybe tied with The Parting of the Ways is probably my favorite episode of Series 1.
Oh, really? Epic. It is, well, we'll get there.
It is good.
So here's the thing, right? This was the first ever television show I watched. I was 4, 5 years old. Parents got me in front of the TV, didn't know what was happening, and I watched Rose. It was the first TV episode I can remember in my life ever watching, okay? And this series was a massive part of my life for a very long time. My childhood was founded on Doctor Who. In fact, I don't think it was until 2015, when I went to high school, that my life became, you know, miserable, and I didn't have time for fun things anymore. And by that time, we'd already gotten past the 50th anniversary special. So, most of New Who I'd seen, you know, and I still followed it pretty closely until the end of Moffat and Capaldi's run in, like, 2017. It was exactly 5 years ago, just over, when we got the last Christmas special. And since then, we've had no Christmas specials, and Jodie Whittaker's acting, and Chris Chibnall's writing, and it's not been great. So that's why I'm really glad that Doctor Who's coming back strong with Russell T and David Tennant for the 60th. This happens, guys. Doctor Who swings and roundabouts. It has its peaks, it has its troughs. You know, we had the 80s. You know, that was the
only exception.
The Baker era. We're now, you know, we're back with a strong revival, I think. I don't know. We'll see. Hopefully it's as good as it was back in the day. And, you know, that's why my QOTD today is Doctor Who overrated? Because you guys are going to see me be very generous with this tier list. I've tried to approach this critically and analytically, but holy shit, I was surprised. These episodes hold up as some of the greatest television ever put on the screen. No cap. Series 1 of Doctor Who is some of the best TV ever made. It's up there with Breaking Bad. It's up there with Stranger Things. What else is, like, critically acclaimed? No, but I know it's, like, critically acclaimed. Like, okay, I would say Game of Thrones, but I've actually heard that's pretty bad. Star Trek, you know.
Yeah.
I would say Star Wars, but that's more movies. I'm thinking original trilogy. Anyway, let's get on with this.
Yeah.
So the tiers we've got are GOAT, fantastic, good, okay, bad, S, A, B, C, and D. We don't need to go below D because none of the episodes are lower than D. It's that good.
Pretty much, yeah.
So, Rose, what do we think of Rose?
I'm just gonna come out
looking
here
back
and
on my
say,
notes.
GOAT, 10 out of 10.
Yeah?
Yeah.
It's such a solid start. Like, it has the perfect character, not just introductions, but development from the classic Who Sees You Got the Doctor, and it's like, oh, that's the Doctor.
Yeah.
Like, he's fun, he's fast, he's clever, you've got that brilliant mix of
Witty.
sci-fi adventure, but also that modern twist of, oh, this is in the modern age, this is up to date.
They've adapted
and it's
this.
relatable.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's
Oh.
it's perfect in my opinion. I could go on for
I was-
hours about it.
I was gonna say, we should like for each season that we review, if they introduce a new sequence, we should actually watch said title sequence.
Yeah.
You know, on
That'd be
Yeah.
cool.
I like
You guys want to
that,
watch
yeah.
the series? I mean, I played the music in the intro of the stream. We can do that. I don't want to have to like mute it for monetization reasons, though. I mean, I could just do it in the middle of the stream, but I think you guys can just watch that on your own screens without having it play on the stream. If you guys want to find that, just go to the official Doctor Who YouTube channel. It's all there.
to subscribe to the official Doctor Who.
David Tennant has
YouTube
one now.
channel.
It's so brilliant.
Right? You'll have to see it.
Honestly, the goat. The goat
Also,
is back.
I'm not going to read this all out, but I made notes and everything, guys. I'm just going to leave them on the screen like so. I just want to check the audio balance real quick. I'm going to definitely be right back, guys. Just 1 minute.
Alright.
Just checking the audio. I'm also going to pause the music, because I just want to see if it's all good. Just check. Put on the screen. I'm not
No, I haven't.
ever watched. Because
That's the Doctor.
critically
Have you seen
acclaimed.
Stranger Things?
No, but I know it's like critically acclaimed. Like,
Okay, fair enough.
trilogy. Anyway, let's. Okay, bad. Good.
On start, like it has the perfect character.
Yo, Ethan, I need you to talk.
Oh, sorry.
I just
couldn't hear
wanted to talk. No, it's fine. It's fine. I'm just testing the audio right now. Speak words. What did you think of Rose?
Oh, I loved it.
Make sure the audio is working.
So it's the first Doctor Who episode in this new, this new era. It's also the first Doctor, fresh out of the Time War. So he's going to be suffering with some PTSD because
Oh, absolutely.
This was actually before the War Doctor was a thing, because we all thought that was the one that fought in the Time War.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I think there was actually like some official content for that, before John Hurt was introduced. Not like anything major, like maybe like 2 comic books and Big Finish audios. Not sure.
I vaguely remember that being a thing.
It's all been retcon now.
Apparently,
but,
apparently the only reason John Hurt, played the War Doctor was the one that, fought in the Time War was because Christopher Eccleston didn't want to come back for the 50th anniversary.
Yeah. He
Yeah.
didn't want to come back.
It's really sad
but
what
he
happened.
will never come back to Doctor Who.
Yeah, because he had a falling out with the BBC. It's
Yeah.
really sad. Guys, I'm going to check the audio one more time. It won't be long, I promise.
Alright, bro.
Just 1 minute. Hold on. Has to be done, because I want to make sure the stream is the right quality that I want. I'm not. Really sad. Guys, I'm going to go back. John Hurt was
Something fresh out of the Time War.
Okay, yeah, we're good. Alright. Alright, fellas. Tech issues are out of the way. We're all good. I just want to make sure, because nobody was in chat to confirm if the audio was garbage or not. So, we're good now. Let's do this. So yeah, Rose, I'm putting it in GOAT. S tier episode. Again, as you guys said, what I wrote is that not a perfect introduction to Doctor Who, but pretty damn close. Again, just the way they design, the intro sequence, the way the story was paced, the way the characters were defined. My only criticism is that it's quite goofy and a bit too tonally inconsistent, and much of the CGI has aged. But the characters are brilliant. Like, things like that are superficial compared to the writing, and the writing is the most important thing, which is they've nailed. Also, things like cinematography and soundtrack, Murray Gold, and, who did the actual, theme tune? Ron Grainer.
Ron
Grainer and Dealey Dubshire.
Because he made the original in 1963, that's why he's credited, because it's just a remake of that.
Yeah.
But yeah,
Yes,
all of them, just legends. They had a really good team of people working on this show. Again, and also, because of the specific sci-fi nature of the universe, it doesn't suffer from problems that Star Wars and Star Trek have, with, like, oh, you need to be a fan to understand things. Everything is explained very concisely and very well. You can tell that it's appropriate for children to watch and very accessible for children, because, like, there's a good amount of like, things like exposition. The exposition's handled really well, but also there's a lot of show not tell. It's got nuance, it's got intrigue, and lots of things for adults to enjoy. And, like, the series, as it goes on, you see more of that. It's marvelous. There's only one time I think the show was limited in being, you know, had to be, like, family friendly, but that was more to do with the, like, the intellectual side of things than, like, a you know, content side of things. I'll explain it when we get there. And also, there's, like, some small references and world building as well. Something which Series 1 does amazingly, which I've never seen another series do as well, I don't believe, is series arc building. Character arcs and plot arcs. The Bad Wolf thing, right?
Yeah, we had
the way the time war and the mystery and the intrigue of the time was slowly unraveled across episodes, it's excellent. And that's something that improves every single episode. There is no filler in this series. Every single episode influences the finale and counts towards the climax of the story. It either informs character development, informs plot development, or introduces new concepts that will be applied in, you know, Bad Wolf Pint the Ways. But there, we'll get there when we get there. Anyway, yeah. Exactly. Did you guys see the thumbnail, by the way?
Yes, I did. Yeah.
Did you see the ranking I put in the thumbnail? Fantastic. Yeah, so this is obviously clickbait. I'm never going to put my actual rankings in the thumbnail. Just telling you now.
Fantastic should have been the top tier.
Yeah. But GOAT. Nothing beats something that's the GOAT.
I'm not going to change it for consistency. I'm happy. You can just consider it S, A, B, C, D. But, okay, yeah, so episode 2, The End of the World. What do we think?
I think it was funny. Not as good as the first one. It was definitely a step down. I kind of love that they added in, like, again, it's that relatable pop culture. Like, you've got, even if it's just the music they play, what is it, like Britney Spears Toxic?
Yeah,
play, like, Tainted Love
like,
at one point.
it's like, hilarious how they have the history all wrong.
I love it. But then,
because it has the, it's like they call a jukebox like a a CD player, and then they play a song that isn't a ballad. It's hilarious. Yeah.
I also love how they introduced Cassandra, who only appears in what, 2-3 episodes? 2.
Yeah,
two episodes. It's 2 episodes. And obviously they don't know it yet, but this isn't the first this isn't the last they've seen of Cassandra. And I love the arc that follows in the beginning of the next series, and how they tie that off with the beginning of the 10th Doctor. Yeah. But again, that's jumping ahead.
Just think about the episode itself.
Like a lot.
Yeah.
The last human.
I like this. If we just go around in a circle, take turns. Tasha, Ethan, Matt. I think we should do that for all the episodes.
Yeah.
Ladies first.
Obviously, it has its flaws. Like, because I've not seen it in years, I can't remember specifically. So I feel like someone else should speak
help with
first so I can jog my memory. I just remember Cassandra being iconic. Yeah. But also Rose's sort of sudden realization of... Sorry, go.
I love the Doctor's sass truly shine in this episode. What are you gonna do? Moisturize me?
What are you gonna do? Yeah, Eccleston again, legend, like so underrated. Maybe not by the intellectuals like us, but underrated Doctor, because he only had one series. Kind of like Paul McGann, didn't have enough screen time. Sad.
Yeah.
Love if they got more, but it is what it is. Ethan, do you want to give us your full review? What do you think?
I don't remember much of this episode. Well, obviously, yeah, I think it's a step down from Rose. I'd put it in like a 1 or 2 tiers below. It's still a good episode. I like it.
Yeah.
More than other ones, but what do I like about the episode?
The thing is, right, I don't know about you, but before I watched this, this episode was a bit more forgettable to me. I didn't remember much of it, and I remember being bored of it as a child. However, critically, I think it still holds up pretty strong.
I do like that they introduced the face of Bo like this early on.
Yes. Oh my god, I've forgotten.
He doesn't make like a whole lot of appearances. He's at least appeared more than Cassandra, but
he appears 3 more times I think throughout the show.
Well, technically,
as the face of Bo.
if Captain Jackie's the face of Bo, then
no.
It's
series.
cool.
I meant as the face of Bo.
As-
but
yeah.
yes, yeah, you're right.
It's so cool you
Another
guys remember
thing-
this. Oh.
I was gonna say is I
One thing I
like
also
how.
wanted to, well, one thing I also wanted to say is the CGI in this. I mean, it makes sense, but the CGI in this is very reminiscent of the Star Wars prequels.
Yes, yeah.
I'd say
it
had a bit of a lower budget. I think the Star Wars prequel CGI could have been amazing if it was handled better, but the technology is equal. Yes, technology is equal.
Yep.
Same period of time.
Exact same period.
Yeah.
I was just gonna say quickly, I like how they introduce this new theme of Rose's discomfort. It's the second episode. It is such a fresh theme to throw in there. It's a massive curveball to suddenly have the companion go from like, okay, cool adventure, let's go, to suddenly being like, oh my god, okay. That hits. That hits so hard. She's 19. As a 19-year-old girl.
The aliens
It's relatable.
are so
Like, she is young.
alien. You look at them,
Yeah, also that, yeah.
and they're alien.
I love Rose.
The aliens are
Yeah,
so
that too. The aliens are so alien. Relatable.
Good thing I didn't take you to the deep
Like-
south.
Yeah. That was, yeah.
Well, this is something that I noted. I think this is one of the greatest highlights of this episode is that it evolves Doctor Who for the modern age by being much more grounded and realistic. It's not just, goofy, cartoony, sci-fi, fun adventures. Rose literally has a panic attack because of the sheer culture shock.
Yes.
And there's this social commentary on, well, as it says here, the episode's about greed, because Cassandra's motive as the villain is greed. She makes money from, screwing everyone over, basically. There's this, racism and negative otherness, because obviously Rose is, freaking out because of the aliens being different, which obviously, the Deep South is a bit on the nose, but yeah, it's like, you could apply that to, real life, and, death, I don't remember why I wrote that, but yeah, it's, but yeah, the only criticism I had of this is that the CGI has aged a bit, and some of the direction and writing was just bad. Does anyone remember the slow-mo, 15 frame per second stepping through the fan scene? It's so bad.
Oh,
it feels
God, I'd forgotten about that.
It's a cheesy
the
movie
tree girl.
cliche.
The tree
Jade.
girl. Jade. Oh,
Jade
I wish
is
she hadn't died.
goated.
She was
I love
cool.
Jade, but that whole scene was really dumb because instead of Jade standing there and holding the lever, she could have gone across and the Doctor could have held the lever instead, and he wouldn't have burned because he's a freaking Time Lord. But no, instead they did it the other way around for no reason. And also, when it goes slow-mo, the frame rate literally halves. So they didn't get a higher FPS camera for the slow-mo scene. So it's just going 15 frames a second. And it just it's just pure plot armor that he just steps through the fan. It's really dumb. It makes no sense. Some of the messages a bit on the nose, but other than that, it's great. First mention of Bad Wolf by the Mox of Balhoun. Again, I remember all the names and tertiary characters and stuff way more from this era because I rewatched this stuff and we bought the toys and I read the annuals and my brain was full of Who when I was younger. So I remember all the obscure stuff. But yeah, Jade, the trees, they were awesome. And
Jade
again,
was a really cool character.
Progresses the characters' dynamics as well. So yeah, this is fantastic. It's not goated, but it's close. It's very close. I'm giving it fantastic. The Unquiet Dead. If you guys are ready to move on, The Unquiet Dead.
Oh.
I've not seen this episode, I must admit.
You've never seen this?
You've never seen The Unquiet Dead?
I think
It's
what are you doing here, dude? Go watch it.
I meant to watch Series 1, but I got distracted by Series 9.
Have you never seen Series 1?
This along with The Long Game, I think are the only two episodes I haven't seen.
Oh
They're both important. I mean, all the episodes are important. It's a
They're
series
all
where everything
important.
is
Don't worry,
important.
it's not a big deal, but
Yeah.
that's really strange that you've seen all the other episodes in this
That's
series, but not
bizarre.
those.
Yeah.
How has that happened?
Especially- Have you ever
I
seen
don't know.
Torchwood? Because it's
Well, I've seen clips, but not full
okay. Because
episodes.
this
I know,
also has a hand in setting up the Torchwood.
Oh my
Yeah, I
god,
know,
it does!
I-
I forgot about that!
Yeah,
I
the
remember-
Rift. It sets up the
Dude.
Rift. It sets
And
up
it's with the
Gwen.
descendant of Gwen.
It sets
Yeah.
up the Rift and Gwen really
Again,
well, actually.
there's so many ties
Yeah.
into the series. Boomtown connects directly with the Unquiet Dead. It's excellent. There's a flashback in
Yeah.
Boomtown to the Unquiet Dead, and there's another one in Bad Wolf of Gwyneth.
Yeah.
Tash, do you want to go first then?
I remember. Well, I say I remember. I don't remember the entire plot. I remember something to do with like ghosts in the gas lamps, and they're not actually ghosts. They're people from the rift coming through. And
guys,
it's not Gwen. I can't remember her name, but she stops them.
Can we make a rule? Yes, guys, can we make a rule that you have to actually watch the episodes we're ranking before we do this, because this is shambles.
Sorry.
I did my homework.
Okay.
I watched series 1. I
say?
expect the same from you.
Matt?
When we watch when we rank
SMH.
series 2, I will
I'm not being
that
funny,
because
but...
that is the one that I am the most nostalgic for of all.
Yeah, interesting.
Matt, I'm not being funny. I meant to watch series 1. I've been in work a lot.
Well, yeah, but you actually have watched it. Ethan hasn't even seen The
I've
Unquiet Dead. And if you need a refresh, that's on you. I'm just saying, guys. Like, come on.
Yeah.
Come
no,
on.
It's fine.
Otherwise, we can't actually have a discussion about it. If there's nothing, if you guys don't have anything else to say, I'll just go through my review.
If you go for it, and then if it reminds me of something that I want to,
you might bounce off.
I can just jump in and bounce off. Yeah.
All right. How about I go first on all of these? How about I go first, then Tasha, and then Ethan last? All right. So episode 3, The Unquiet Dead. Yeah.
I do remember this was like the first episode in the new series, or at least as far as I'm aware in the new series, that introduced like a historical figure.
Yeah.
Right?
Yes. So they went to the future for the end of the world, and then went to the past for the Unquiet Dead. Okay, so what I wrote is that I remember seeing this episode was boring back in the day, but it's just not all that flashy. I love how Dickens is portrayed, his dynamic with the Doctor, and all of the real life history entwined within the plot. The Doctor makes some like funny references. He's like, "Oh, I'm a big fan," when he realizes who Dickens is. The idea of the Gelth is a unique sci-fi spin on ghosts because they're like creatures made of gas. There's actually a direct reference to A Christmas Carol. It's excellent. It not only works thematically, death seems to be a running theme in Series 1. Death is a big theme, actually, in this series, because there's a lot of death. And again, when we get to Series 4 and Davros, how many have died in your name? You know, it goes all the way back to Rose. It also ties into a separate series arc referencing the Time War, so we're building on that. A lot of arc building in this one. Bad Wolf is also mentioned by Gwyneth. Concepts such as paradoxes are also explained concisely but well, which is essential for this sci-fi TV show because paradoxes are a big thing. And again, that comes into play later with the Father's Day. The connections are just, it's so well structured. But on its own, the episode is also of good value. It's not just a part of the series, you know. The relationship between the Doctor and Rose becomes more positive. I wrote that this episode was perhaps a bit slow, but every character is used effectively and serves a good self-contained story, as well as a great insight into Charles Dickens. There's an extended metaphor and reference to A Christmas Carol as well. I could say more, but the thing is, when I started, I wasn't writing as much. I wrote more as it progressed. I'm going to give this one, let me just see. This is an 8 out of 10 as well. I'm going to give it, I'm gonna give it good. I don't know. It wasn't amazing.
I was thinking good. It's not as flashy like you said.
Yeah.
Wonderful story. It's still a wonderful story. A lot of good world building, setup, character. Because obviously it's the first series. It's the 3rd episode. You're still doing that world building, character development between the 2 main characters and other one-off characters or later recurring ones that we don't know come back yet. But it's good. It's not filler, but it's a good story among other greats, if that makes sense.
Yeah, absolutely. In fact, yeah, I think that's a perfect way to describe it.
It gets outshone by the outstanding stories, even though it's a good story itself.
Literally this whole series, like, I have to keep my standards very strict, because they're all just, there's literally only one episode I didn't like, and even that one was only, like, Like, this series is phenomenal. Best, like, some of the best TV. Alright, let's move on. Episode 4, Aliens of London. So, this is a 2-parter, but we are ranking these separately.
Aliens of London.
I guess I'll go first. So, basically, this is the first Aliens on Earth story, which is like the natural next step, which we take. Also, CLH Save, hello. Actually, the thing is, guys, if I go first, I won't get to hear your thoughts without my influence. I kind of want to hear what you have to say before I share.
Okay, so...
Do you want to go first?
Space Pig.
Yeah, you remember Space Pig?
Again, I don't know if you guys have seen Torchwood, but it sets up a character that comes to Torchwood, and then they reference Space Pig in Torchwood. And I've only watched like the first half of series 1 of Torchwood, but I love that they come back to Space Pig very briefly because it does set up a key character there. Not the pig itself, a different person, but you know what I mean. Because the pig's a hoax in the end, isn't it?
Yeah.
I love a good Earth-based story as
I
well,
love, again,
like,
structure
general.
is just excellent here. Do you guys remember anything else of
The
it?
Third Doctor.
It is.
Yeah, this is like the introduction of the Slovene, unless they were in the classic series, which I have not watched.
Yes.
I don't believe the Scythian were. I feel really stupid now. I should. This is something I should know. The Scythian weren't in classic Who, were they?
The Scythian in Classic Who?
They weren't.
I
They
don't
weren't
know.
a classic Who. They were original
No.
to.
No,
Yeah.
this is the very first appearance of the Scythian. It doesn't
Yeah.
exist.
So
before
they're
this.
in the like the Weeping Angels.
Yeah, the Weeping
Yeah.
Angels are also original.
This is a Russell T invention, the Scythian, and they're brilliant.
Although the Weeping Angels were Moffat technically. But
And
yes,
let's just do initial thoughts, and I'll do my full review first. That's how we'll structure it. We're working this out,
I
guys.
like that,
It's our
I like
first
that.
time. We're working out the format right now.
Fleshing it out.
Any other initial thoughts, just off the top of your head, before I get into the details that spring to mind?
I'm trying to recall. No. Go on.
So, Rose and the Doctor go out to Earth, and instead of 12 hours passing, it's been 12 months. And this brings in, this highlights the dangerous and unpredictable consequences of traveling with the Doctor, actions of consequences, and having to, deal with negative aspects of the, the adventure that Rose was lured towards in Rose. She, because Rose has this absolute drive to, go out there and see more, and this runs out the whole series, and there's this conflict of, life with the Doctor and life at home, because her domestic life with Mickey, who the Doctor calls Ricky, and Jackie, there's a lot of good conflict there, a lot of good, character dynamics.
At the end.
It does, yeah. It's in fact, it keeps going. Even in the Christmas Invasion, it just keeps going.
It does.
And there's a lot of nice connections as well. This isn't really right in the episode, but because of the TV broadcast structured out the episode on commentating on the alien landing, the Parliament, government, unit, and military, as well as Harriet Jones, are all introduced here. Unit isn't really a big thing in Series 1, but the Doctor mentions them, and we do see them with their red berets still. And Harriet Jones is obviously a more important character
MP,
later
Fly
on.
Down North.
Yeah.
I love that progression as a character.
Again, there's so many great plot threads. Jones is the separate plot thread, and it's great. It's this satire, but also a transparent parody of party politics then and now. And the absurd, fat, farting caricatures of the Scythian imposter politicians are tragically funny imitations of real life politics. It has sadly aged very well. That's what I wrote here, because I was watching this and I was like, oh my god, it's the Tories in 2022. Nothing has changed. This was 20 years ago and it's still cutting edge.
London back then. It was Boris Johnson who was mayor of London, I'm pretty sure.
Sorry, what was that, Ethan?
Why of all things did it have to be the politics that never changed?
Right? It's really, there's something about the
Sad
series
reality.
arc which is really sad about that as well, which I'll get onto. But yeah, it's you look at this, fat farting, imposter politicians, and you can just imagine Boris Johnson with a zipper on his head, can't you?
Yeah, I was gonna say, because he was mayor of London, so they were probably taking the piss directly out of him as well.
Damn. Because,
I think he was mayor of London at that point.
One of them is
time.
just like him. I also wrote, some of this is arguably a little cringe and misplaced, but the intrigue built up from Harriet Jones' perspective is fantastic. Some of the plot is drawn out. The cliffhanger sequence is particularly slow. It kind of suspends disbelief. The characters and mystery make for a great part 1. I gave it a 7 out of 10. It's there with the Unquiet Dead. Aliens in London's, it's good. It's alright.
Yeah,
The first,
I have to agree with that.
So the end of the episode's a bit weak, and there's some stupid, the humor's a bit too much even for a family show. But yeah, it's good. It's alright.
It drags on a bit, but it still sets up good characters, good story, good adventure.
Again, it's slow because it's a two-part.
It's the perfect mix of comedy, adventure, sci-fi, but again, that modern day realistic, relatability of the characters of
it's good sci-fi. It's good drama.
Even the family dynamic with Jackie, Rose, and Mickey.
And it's
I
good
love the
social
relatability
commentary. It ticks all the boxes on all fronts. It's amazing.
Yeah. So I would still say it's good.
With the Doctor calling Mickey Ricky consistently, it makes me wonder if he knew about the parallel universe with Ricky and Rise of the Cybermen.
Yeah.
He didn't know. I think it was just a funny, writing. I don't know. I think it was a gag that they used to build on in Series 2 rather than the other way around. Unless Russell T, the madman, actually had the whole parallel universe thing planned. And maybe it's supposed to be this constant in the space-time continuum that, the Doctor subconsciously thinks his name is Ricky. It's weird.
To the music that's used in Doomsday is used in the very first episode, Rose, when Rose first enters the
is.
TARDIS. It's as if
It
her
is,
fate
yeah.
is sealed.
You know what, guys? I think we need to look at this the way we look at the Five Nights
I
at Freddy's
love that
games.
phrase that her fate is sealed. That is such a
Yeah,
way of
there
putting
was
that. I love
obviously some things planned, but I think Russell T was just very good at building on what already existed. I think series were probably planned one at a time, like they must have been, because production would have limited what they could do. So I think all of Series 1 was planned. I think everything up to Parting of the Ways, which for some reason says Partying of the Ways on this, by the way. Someone's made a typo.
They will have written the first. They would
was
have
all
probably
planned.
written Rose, pitched it to the BBC, and gone, "Hey, we want to bring back Doctor Who," and they would have gone, "Okay, that's amazing. Write the rest of the series, and we'll do it."
Yeah,
And
and
then they
if
would have gone back
this
with the
series
rest of
did
the series
well,
and
they
then
got
went into
Series
production
2.
casting.
And it's just kept
Yeah.
going.
Yeah.
I think it was planned one series at a time, but they built on it very well.
Yes, yeah.
Ali-
I love the
one,
world.
Yeah.
one last thing. Aliens of
quite
London
funny, that.
contains my favourite Ninth Doctor quote ever.
Oh.
Wait, hold on, I'm trying to work
Excuse me.
out what this is. Yes, you mind not
Excuse me.
farting when I'm trying to save
Yes.
the world? I knew I could get that. Oh, it's hilarious.
Yeah.
It's just like the most weirdest thing
It's
to
so
say.
absurd.
casually.
It's great. Again, it combines that absurdity with the kind of like, high stakes, gritty adventure. It's marvelous. It's marvelous.
It's such a wonderful mesh. Like it's both absurd, hilarious, but also like this is cool. Like it's
All right.
perfect.
Ugh.
I've never seen it done better.
More sass from the Ninth Doctor.
Yeah, he's so sassy. All right.
It-
We love a
It really
sassy
makes
queen.
me want like a crossover, like an adventure between the Ninth Doctor and Donna, because both of them have.
Oh my god, yes.
Oh
untamed
my god,
levels of
yeah.
snap.
That
It
would've
would be
been
off the
gold.
scale, dude. Are we ready to move
Sassiest
on?
Who duo.
World War 3?
World War III, yeah.
Absolutely.
All right. Initial thoughts. What do we think? What'd your gut tell you when you hear World War 3?
Wow. It's
well,
a
it's
good
one of-
continuation, isn't it?
Yeah, it's one of those. Yeah, it doesn't just show like what happened last time and then throw you into the intro sequence. It continues.
yeah.
Continues the
crafted
episode
very well.
before-
Doesn't it pick up
Yeah.
directly off where it
Right, it literally seamless transition from the footage of the previous
Yeah.
episode to the new footage. It's
They will
actually
have filmed them
brilliant.
back to back.
Yeah.
Exactly, yeah. It's just, the way they set that up and stuff is great. I mean, the introduction stuff, I'm not even, thinking about that, because it's equally polished across the whole series. That's just, a high-quality constant, the intro sequence, the music. I'm really focusing on, writing, direction, acting, all those things here. But, yeah, everything else is constant.
Ooh, Ethan's mic okay.
Yes,
Oh
internet connection.
I hear, a robotic farting, that's what it sounds like.
I was gonna say something like a robot helicopter.
Helicopter,
I
helicopter. That's a bit of a...
Oh.
Is this better now?
Yeah,
Not
Not
particularly.
really. Still, it's just doing a
Raggy.
ding 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 beeping. It's weird.
Mm.
I mean, I will
It's like
say
that
on the
bug that you see
topic
in
of the soundtrack in Series 1 is super underrated. There's a lot of tracks which are just kind of ambient and there for atmosphere, but there's some absolute bangers. There's something that is forever ingrained in my head, for example, is the motif from Aliens of London that they use for all the action and military scenes with unit and stuff when the ship is crashing. I forget the actual title, but it's...
Oh, I know the one you're on about. Yeah, yeah, yeah.
Bum 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 bum
Yeah.
bum do do.
I know the one you mean.
Do do do. It's just a banger.
Yeah, well, it recurs,
there's a lot of good ones
but
like that.
that was when it was first used, isn't it?
Yeah, it's stuff
Yeah.
like that. Just little touches really make this series.
It's the iconic little
I think
introductions
my
that then
favorite,
stick. It's beautiful.
I think my favorite soundtrack in the Series 1 soundtrack is the Doctor's theme. Either that or Rose's theme.
Ooh, yeah. Again, there isn't really a bad one. Some of them are
Yeah.
just mediocre, but that's the worst it gets. It's
Yeah.
so good. Right. So initial thoughts, World War 3. Anything you guys? What springs to mind? How would you rank this?
Ethan?
Gut instinct.
Mm-mm. Hang on. I'm trying to remember the episode.
I'm gonna be controversial here. I'm gonna put it in the GOAT here. I think this episode is almost perfect.
Really?
I think this episode is absolutely goated. It's one of my favourites by far.
See, Aliens of London I'd put in good. And then World War 3, I think I'd put in fantastic.
Fantastic. That's fair.
Because
But yeah,
it builds the story and it's a better continuation, but it's still not quite up with Rose, in my opinion.
I think Mickey
True.
Mickey shined more in this episode more than any of the past episodes so far.
True.
He's actually, like
Mickey's
you
a
know,
growing presence in the series. It's great.
Because in the beginning, he's just like the
defeating the
terrified
alien.
boyfriend that
He
gets.
sent a fucking missile to the number 10 Downing Street.
He's a mad lad. There's a lot of those computer scenes as well. They have it again in.
He is the guy in the chair.
Yeah, I mean, like it goes far from him like cowering in fear, hiding, from the nesting or even on the ground from the Doctor and his TARDIS.
Sat there.
Mickey's character development across the series is just one of the best, but this is early days. It's really honestly tragic, his relationship with Rose, because it just completely degrades.
I feel so bad for him because I'm not being funny. It's so obvious where she stands with that from the first episode.
Yeah.
Like, yes, okay, it's a montage of cute, happy moments with them. But that's about it.
Boomtown encapsulates this perfectly, and we'll get there when we get there. But yeah, Mickey's story is actually really sad.
Yeah.
Oh no, Ethan, you can't voice chat?
No.
Oh, this is so scuffed. Your staying credits in the description. If you want to just use text chat, I mean, this stream's dead. No one's watching, apparently, which is unfortunate. Oh, I know what I need to do. I need to hashtag this so it hits the algorithm. So we find Doctor Who fans out there. I'm going to hashtag this.
Algorithm moment.
Why didn't I do this first? Again, this is the first one, guys. It's all a bit scuffed. When we get to Series 2, it'll be...
It's okay. It will pick up. It will.
Yeah.
I believe.
If I do Doctor Who Series 1, different series are tagged. I don't know what to do, though.
Also, for some reason, people just aren't bothered about Series 1 in comparison to Series 2 onwards. And I get that people love David Tennant, but, like, sorry, but Christopher Eccleston... David Tennant wouldn't be there without Christopher Eccleston. What? I don't understand people that don't understand that.
I don't know what a hashtag. I'll try Doctor Who fandom as well as Doctor Who Series 1, but I think just the main Doctor Who tag is the main thing.
Or, like, the actors' names or the characters' names.
So unfortunate.
Like, the Doctor.
Oh, yeah, I could do, like, Ninth Doctor, this, that, and the other. Alright, well, whatever. It's the first episode. If anyone's watching this back when it's not live, you're in my GOAT category. If you're watching this through after it's live, you're actually GOATed. I just want to say it right now.
Category too.
Ethan's spot on in chat. David Tennant is my childhood Doctor, but never skip Christopher Eccleston. Tasha, do you want to take the responsibility of reading his messages for me?
Absolutely, I can do. I've got my phone up here.
Thank you. Perfect. Perfect. Just like me. You're watching the stream on your phone. Perfect. All right. So I'm just going to go through my review in depth, okay? This episode was almost perfect. What I wrote here is, it was a banger, literally. High stakes, high tension, good pacing, fantastic character development, and some interesting new sci-fi concepts. Everything is either explained clearly and concisely or implied and or shown so the plot makes sense. So we had like the fake pig that they genetically engineered to the hoax, space pig hoax in the last episode. But here we get the explanation of like the Slytherin's kind of like plot. And it's not just exposed, it's kind of shown as well as told. And we have the scene where the Doctor, Harry Jones, and I almost said Amy, what am I saying? And Rose are all, like, locked in, Parliament, Downing Street number 10. And they're, figuring out what the Slytherin are. Narrows it down. Raxacorica Fallopatoria! It's just excellent scenes. The acting, the energy, the pacing, it's spot on. And that's just one example. Harriet Jones is brilliant. And I love the comedy as well as the tension, seeing again Jackie and Mickey have to fend off a Slytherin in their kitchen, and we see the vinegar thing and then making them explode. Like it's unique. It's funny, it's bizarre, it's Doctor Who. And
I've just had a thought.
Yeah, go on.
This is just throughout in series 1 and 2 is the use of phone calls. I believe you did spell that right, Ethan. Raxacorica.
I actually don't know. Yeah, I'm gonna say yeah.
I think that's spelled right. It looks like it's spelled right.
I'm gonna attempt to spell it.
Phonetic. But yeah, I love the use of phone calls throughout the show. This is more of a general thing, but I sort of mention it because it is used in this episode as well. Like, yeah, sorry, yeah. I just think it's a really clever device for characters who are in 2 different places to communicate and work together in 2 separate but intertwined plot paths. So you've got Jackie and Mickey in the kitchen, and then you've got Rose and the Doctor and Harriet Jones in Parliament, and and they work as a team. I love that. This is why Stranger Things, sorry, I will shut up in a minute. This is why Stranger Things is such a great show, because it intertwines like 4 different plot points at once at any given moment. with the use of radios, because it's set in the 80s. You've got radios, you've got notes being left.
Yeah,
Just like
and it's
word
not
of
like,
mouth, and then they split up again.
you know,
It's amazing how they do that.
it's not
and
convoluted. It's still easy to follow, and it's dynamic, and it like it literally takes the characters on different journeys, and like, you know, builds the world. It's excellent. All that kind of thing just helps make the story more believable.
And I'll touch on this again when we get to Boomtown, because you know where I'm going with that.
Yes.
But yeah, continue what you were saying.
So my only main criticism was that there were some moments where I just could not suspend my disbelief because the direction was absolutely comical. It was just stupid, and it was like, so at the start of the scene, the Doctor not once but twice somehow manages to run away from like 20 soldiers, like, you know, in arm's reach of him, without getting shot. It's utterly ridiculous. So like, he escapes the room after the so they accuse him of being the alien. He's like, that's not gonna work, is it? Because they put their skin suits back on, and somehow he gets past all of them, and then he's like, you know, never back someone against the elevator, and they all just stand there while he like takes a moment, steps back, says the gag. It's ridiculous. That should have just been paced more quickly.
It's a bit far-fetched.
And no one could miss from that, like, distance as well. It's just silly the way that was directed. However, the intrigue and revelation of the Selene's identity and objective was brilliant. Even the comedic scenes and the stupid fart gag, which just became a running gag, were executed tastefully and didn't interfere with the more serious moments, especially those of Mickey and Jackie. And yeah, there's a lot of loose ends tied up. It's just the pacing and direction, the humor is great, and the silly moments only, you know, they don't detract from it that much for me, because they're all out of the way at the start.
It's quite clever that they have the policeman there right from the get-go in the flat.
Right,
and
it's all
like,
built up to.
It's like a twist of, oh my god, wait, it's him as well. It's not just the government.
And again, they still have
like,
the news reports
also,
coming. There's all the people going. It's like, what connects all these people? We're not quite certain.
I love that it's this corrupt fact. As someone who is very against a certain governing party at the moment and their police system, I love that even back then they were ripping into the fact that the police, tied in with the government, they're all corrupt with their fart jokes and their... They do it in a comical way, but it's like, oh, that's actually got an element of truth.
Yeah, what she is as an adult is different.
The Met Police,
you realise what
stuff
it's
to do with that in the last few years.
The subtle like, messages. Yeah, exactly. It's really sad that nothing's changed.
To Can't Fight City Halloween.
Bruh. Anyway,
it's kind of fun, ironic there.
But yeah, something that's really sad, which we'll pick up in Christmas Invasion, that is that at this point in time, again, time is in flux. You know, the Doctor talks about how Harriet Jones, he's like, where do I know that name? And after she walks off to tell everyone about what's happened after they've, you know, blown up Downing Street, it's revealed that she is going to be the Prime Minister for 3 consecutive terms in the golden age of Great Britain. But it also rounds off the early domestic arc for the Tylers. This is why Rose, for better or worse, definitively chooses to travel with the Doctor. And you can see her relationship with Mickey just becoming more tense, and Jackie being a, you know, worried mum. Jackie's underrated. Excellent
I love Jackie.
Character.
Jackie's the goat.
But I'm giving this S tier.
Actually, I'm going to move mine up from fantastic to... Ooh,
you are? Do you? You sure?
I gotta think about this. No, I still don't think it's on the same level as Rose, because I have other episodes in mind that I know are better, and I would put in GOAT. So I'm gonna leave it as fantastic.
Oh yeah, Ethan, they do, don't they? They actually have, it feels real. Again, I love how consistent the fake news reports are. They have the same fake news reporters in Series 1 that they do in Series 4, for like America and like different countries.
The American woman, oh, I love her.
Yeah, it's great.
She's brilliant. Yeah.
And it's like you get the sense of the actual scale, because the television, it actually gives you a sense of scale of the story. It's like, oh, there's you know,
it's happening everywhere.
Like the world's talking about it. They keep talking about the United Nations like getting involved, and like, you know, the mystery and like how the rest of the world's seeing it. It's great.
It reminds me of the Series 3 finale. Something I like about the Series 1/2 companions I don't like about the Series 11 and 12 companions is that not all of them show up in every episode. They're used tastefully. Yes, Ethan. Yes, I love that. Because Mickey and Jackie are recurring characters, but they don't need to be in every episode to be important. Same with Captain Jack. I'm not going to talk about Adam, because Adam I don't like, but yeah.
I think Series 11 and 12 had other fundamental issues, which kind of negate that point, but yeah, you're right. It's, again, like, Yaz had nothing to do until she did, and I think she's gone now. I don't remember. And Graham and Ryan, yeah, it's just that, like, there are too many characters because they didn't do enough with each character.
Made sense.
Yeah, well,
it's just sort of like, what's going on?
I didn't exactly, you know, cry about that one. I didn't really give me any emotional feeling, and that just goes to show compared to Series 4, you know. Anyway.
Yeah, it was kind of just like, okay, yeah, they're gone. All right, bye.
If you're ready,
see
Tash.
how the other two development.
Episode 6, Dalek.
I'm sure Jack in Series 2. Yeah, agreed, Ethan. Dalek. Oh, Dalek.
Yeah. I don't mind that. I think Series 2 had other priorities, you know. Jack came back when he did,
It
you
would
know.
have been nice to have a one-off, but it made sense the way they brought him
It
back
might
at the end of
have
Series
broken
3.
up the series arc.
Yes, yeah.
Anyway,
that was solely the Doctor and Rose at that point. With Mickey and Jackie, yes, but it was more those two
because
growing
I like
together
that he
as a-
came back after Rose was gone. We'll talk about this when we get
Yes.
to Doomsday and which
Yeah,
episode is it?
yeah.
Gridlock? I don't remember. No, not Gridlock. It's...
No. It's all the Harold Saxon stuff at the end of Series 3
yeah, it's right. The
back.
finale. It's Utopia.
Yeah, it's Utopia.
Wow.
I can't remember. I can't remember what they're called. Brain is mush. Dalek is probably my favourite of all time in Series 1. Reintroduction of the most classic Who anime ever. Yes, it does it so well because it puts such a unique spin on the Daleks that we've never seen before. While it's their first introduction to New Who, they look different. They sound the same. Like, yes, they look similar. I love the Series 1 Daleks. I think they're just...
Okay, I think this is
so nice.
GOAT, by the way. This is S tier without question.
Yeah, yeah, without
Tasha,
question, GOAT.
do your review first. I'm going to give you guys a tease of my review here.
So basically, I love the way that it's... You don't need an army of Daleks to be terrifying. It takes one. It takes one half-functioning Dalek to be roaming about a secure facility to scare the living daylights out of so many people. And even the people who brave up to the Dalek and be like, "Duh!" They die, obviously. But they... Even you can tell they're scared even if they're putting on a brave face. And I love that it puts that sheer horror at this thing that is so, like, iconic in Doctor Who. And the way that Rose, who is she's the only one that's like, she has a different view. And it shows her importance as the companion because she thinks completely differently to the Doctor. She shows him a new side of things because to him, obviously, the Time War, everything that's happened in Classic Who, for people who remember Classic Who, you know the Doctor, his worst enemy is the Daleks. So to see one, and for his companion to be giving it a chance, I've said this right.
Yeah.
Like, it just...
What you're talking about is one of the most well-written moments in Doctor Who.
It's just amazing. It's beautiful. I love it.
I really want to delve
Because,
deep
again,
into this, but I'll get back to it when we
It's the character
look around.
development between properly butt heads, other than when... And at the end of the world where she was freaking out. Other than that, this is the first time they've disagreed and she's gone, no, give it a chance.
Yeah. It's ironic,
even,
though.
Even right to the end of the episode, she's there with that Dalek, trying to show it compassion, and then it dies, and it's sad, but in a beautiful way.
Bittersweet.
Because you know what the Daleks are capable of. It shows what they're capable of throughout the episode, which is one Dalek. It shows the upgraded thing of it can fly. Like, that's new. That's terrifying. As a child watching that, it's like, oh my god, this death machine can go upstairs. So it both shows how deadly and cold the Daleks are, but also shows this weird sort of, are they capable of compassion?
Ah, crap. Hold on. My headphones are running out of battery, which means I'm not going to hear you. Because it does a beep, which just blocks out all other sounds.
They fly out. They fly out.
I need to get the auxiliary.
I will read what you're saying in a second, Ethan. When Matt's back. I had one other thing to say, but yeah.
It won't beep for a bit, so go ahead.
Can you hear me?
Yeah, I just don't know what to find auxiliary lead.
So the only other thing I was gonna say, I can lend you a lead if you want. If you need the one I gave you earlier and gave back, I can give you that. If I can find it.
No.
I love that it shows. I'm pretty sure this is the first time we see the dark side of the Doctor, the true War Doctor.
The brooding.
Because before he's been like, get off this planet, I protect this planet, all that Doctor spiel. but this is the first time we've seen him look into the face of something and be genuinely angry, and there is no compassion there. I keep using the word compassion, but he has no patience with this thing. He just wants it gone.
It's
he wants it to just stop existing. It's amazing. And Christopher Eccles' characterization of that is just... You can tell that he is a war-ridden man who has experienced the Daleks far too much for one person and lived through the horrors of... You know, you've got Genesis of the Daleks, that's a really big one. And Davros and all of that history.
Some people argue that's where the Time War actually started.
Yeah, I would say that. I honestly would. But also coming into Doctor Who as a fresh-faced person going, oh, this is cool and new, I'll watch this sci-fi show. It's like, ooh, this is significant. This is something to hang on to, because there is obviously a very different connection here compared to previous enemies. The Slitheen, the Autons, yes, okay, they've been bad, but this is another level. And I love the distinction, how that is distinguished.
Absolutely. Okay, I cannot find the auxiliary lead for my headphones.
Is it a long lead? Like, do you wear them while they're charging?
Tash, I'm going to come to your room and show you. I also kind of need to pee, so I'm going AFK for a minute, guys. Tash is just going to carry the stream for a minute, so...
I'll keep it going.
Yeah.
I'll read Ethan's chat and talk with him, see how it's going. Yeah.
Bro.
Yes.
I need something that's like that.
Are you wearing them? Oh, I don't have anything like that.
Just the battery's about to die.
Sorry, I don't have. Do you have a spare pair?
I have earbuds. They'll have to do, I guess.
I might have a spare pair of headphones. Hang on.
Wait, no, Mum bought me a new one, didn't she? This would be
It's funny because I'm listening to music on my instrumental players and it's playing something for Series 1 and it's either like... It's from the finale. Yeah, no, I'm gonna get in here. Sorry, man.
I'll fix it in.
Alright. Sorry about that. Now my headphones are broken. Oh god. I did have a spare pair somewhere, but evidently not here. Yeah, it's funny because I have my instrumental players and the hologram, which is from the series 1 finale, which is when, you know, the hologram in the TARDIS. Anyway, enough about that. I like how this episode actually shows the power of the Dalek armor. They show the bullets melting before they even touch armor. Yes. Absolutely. So I've not been ignoring you, Ethan. I was getting my point across. Like how in the early series, the Daleks actually have a reason to fear the Doctor, unlike the later series where it just exists for plot convenience. Yes. It frustrates me how the Daleks and the Doctor progress, because part of me understands it because you can only milk a plot point and a character interaction so far. The Doctor and the Daleks, while yes, that is forever going to be the #1 face-off the Doctor has with any existing alien or whatever. Yes, of course it's the Daleks. And they do come up with creative ways to reintroduce the Daleks, or oh my god, Davros is back, or like this, that, the other. Like the series 4 finale is a great example of that. The paradigm, I love the way they introduced the paradigm in series 5. However, they didn't use them. The Doctor literally won't die in the presence of the Daleks. Everyone like that. Yeah, he's got this sort of. It's plot armor. It's basically plot armor. It's frustrating how it does eventually become that. Because obviously nobody's invincible against the Daleks. They show that in series 5. Series 5? Series 1. Again, we'll get there, but when Jack in the Parting of the Ways, even I cannot speak anymore. In the Parting of the Ways, Jack literally dies. The only reason he comes back is because of Rose and the TARDIS, and that's just unnatural. And it like, yes, okay, they keep killing off these one-off characters on the space station, but when they kill off a character that's been there for a few episodes, it's now like Power of the Daleks. Anyway, back to Dalek, because that's what we're here to discuss at the moment. I like Van Stanton's museum. I like the setup of this new place. I kind of like it being a one-off thing because Van Stanton's a dick and we don't need to see him again. I can't remember if he dies or not. I don't think he does. And like his assistant and stuff, and they're interesting. Another thing I've just remembered is that it introduces Adam. Now, I, on principle, severely dislike Adam. And that is the point of Adam. He is a character created purely to be a simp. and just to be annoying, at least in my point of view. He is there just to be... He's just Adam, you know? He's just he's the counterpoint. So you've got... Yeah, nobody likes Hammond. He is written to be the dislikable character. It's like Ahsoka in the Clone Wars. In the beginning, she was written to be dislikable and annoying, and she grew to be this loved by everybody character by the end of the Clone Wars. Hey, Matt. I'm talking about Adam.
I'm just changing up the audio so people won't be able to hear you for a moment.
Game. Don't worry. He's only in the long game and then he's gone. I love the long game, but he's so cringe.
Alright, hold on. And audio. And Spike.
Can you hear me?
Tash, you are live again. They can hear you.
Oh, could they not hear me that entire time?
Only for a moment. I said I'm changing the audio.
Oh,
Once you said, once you stopped talking about Adam, I changed the audio.
Oh, okay, that's fine. Yeah.
It was only like a 10 seconds.
My mum wants me to pop some
This is nice.
Ethan's dipping for a bit because his mum's sending him on shopping.
Oh man, this is scuffed as hell. Alright, Ethan, well, you can come back and rank the episodes at the end anyway. Tash, right, did I miss anything?
No, I was just talking about, I kept talking about the Doctor and the Daleks, and we got a little bit sidetracked about later series and how it progresses and how there's a bit plot armory if you read chat. But honestly, I was just moving on to Adam and how he's deliberately written. I was making a comparison. I'll tell you which comparison. He's deliberately written to be
I heard this.
Dislikable character.
Yeah.
And he's like Ahsoka. I didn't have my Ahsoka comparison because at the beginning of Clone Wars, she's written to be annoying. She's written to be like, oh, who is this new person? And then by Series 7, it's like...
Unlike Ahsoka, however, he only has 2 appearances. He doesn't have a character arc, and he pretty much leaves the same way he started.
Deliberate. It's so deliberate.
It is deliberate.
It shows the Doctor picks and chooses the best of the...
Yeah.
He could have dropped her off long ago if he didn't think she were good enough to be... This is a little bit snooty on the Doctor's part, but he picks the best people.
He does. No, he only picks the best. Team TARDIS.
Rose, especially, Rose is a really important one because she's the new one in Series 5. They're the 2 that bring back the show. She is so key, and
Yes, I'm testing my audio.
I have no time for you.
Wow.
Because Rose is the best. Anyway. Sidetracked again.
Right, okay, let's get on with this. So, Dalek.
Adam is literally just a simp the entire way through, and he's there to be annoying and ask the stupid questions and to not know what's going on, and he doesn't follow. And
he's there for plot reasons as well as
character ones. As well. It's character development plot reasons though, because it just the Doctor's he's proving a point to Rose to say I chose you. Out of all the at the time 7 billion people on the planet, I chose you. Because she stands above. She knows what to do. She has creative ideas. In episode thing where she swings round and stops.
She's brave.
Get killed. She saves him.
This is what she's arguing about in Bad Wolf at Parting of the Ways.
She's quick-witted. She's smart. But she's also just a kind and caring person.
It's about standing up and fighting when everyone else is running away. Yeah.
Yes.
Yeah. Okay. Tash, we've got to keep things moving because we're running out of time. We are.
Dalek is goated.
We are 1 hour and a quarter into a stream that was planned to be 2. I'm running on episode 6 out of 14.
We will whiz through these next
so let's keep it moving. I need to talk about Dalek. I haven't talked about Dalek yet.
You haven't? Oh, I'm so sorry.
Yeah. So my review started with legendary. This episode is legendary. Basically, it just ticks a bunch of boxes for me. The fan service, series arc building, and lore is excellent. You got the 80s Cyberman head for Simon reference. He's like a doctor, an old friend, well, enemy. Bad Wolf 1, you know, and the helicopter. The entire Time War is finally explained. That like story arc that's been building up has finally unraveled. The introduction, obviously, revelation of the Dalek. Davros is referenced, not by name, but he is mentioned. The Doctor, it says how the Daleks were built by, like, you know, a madman who wanted to win a war, something like that. There's a lot of good service to classic Who. The weird sci-fi BS of Who was explained and hinted at concisely and clearly as well. Rose's genetic imprint and the Dalek absorbing energy. Again, the sci-fi shenanigans are made very accessible to even young people who aren't into sci-fi. So it's very easy to understand, and also it's structured well. It's like, if you pay attention, it's hinted at immediately that the Dalek has some of Rose's DNA, and that whole plot thing is just like well structured.
Yeah,
now, speaking of the plot, pacing was spot on. Every character felt like they were useful and in place for the plot. Everyone was, in the secondary ones.
Everyone from Van Stanton's assistant to Van Stanton himself, Rose, the Doctor, Adam, that other guy, the guy who contains the Dalek. He's like hands-on.
Oh yeah, Simmons. I remember this because of the trading cards we had way back when. You remember those?
Oh my god, yeah, the Doctor Who trading cards.
So Henry Van Stanton, I actually love Henry Van Stanton. I think he's a really interesting character because he's like not good, but he's not evil either. He's like this very strange, like neutral
as a person, character. I don't like him. As a character, I love him.
Yeah, exactly, because he very much starts off as an antagonist, right? He has this private militia. He's clearly this, cynical,
rich man.
businessman who, only cares about, profit and kind of like, it's like he has this argument with the Doctor. It's like, I want to go to the stars. No, you're dragging them underground. You're as far from the stars as you can be. And he literally, like, ties him up and, like, tortures him. To find out that the Doctor's alien and analyze him because he's just like, he's lacking humanity. And like, he's constantly like firing people, getting their memories wiped, like executing them.
It's a little bit, you ask me.
Yeah, exactly. And so like, it's interesting because he's all of these things and he's very like stoic and cold and like, greedy because like all he cares about, he's like, I don't want to scratch on that thing, you hear me? As like, you hear the gunshots fade out because the Dalek fucking massacred all his soldiers. 200 people die because of him in this episode. Goddard is the name of his assistant. Diana Goddard. She's awesome.
She was cool. I liked her
because
a lot.
Not only is she like, she's introduced as a great kind of foil to him. She's like, funny, and she puts up with his BS, and she's like pretty helpful. And then at the end, it's really satisfying to see her basically replace him. And she's like, there's this like poetic link. It's like, send him to, some place beginning with C, someplace beginning with S. He's like listing all the American like cities,
like this dismissive
states.
Kind of like, oh, he doesn't matter anymore. He can go.
And she does the same thing to him.
Wants to take
and
him.
It's okay. I'll just if we gotta take the social commentary angle, obviously it's empowering for women. It's it's a pretty nice feminism. But also, just in general, it's a great shift of power dynamic to someone who is a lot more, I guess, fair and empathetic, because she's the one who brings up specifically that all these people are dying. Adam, as well, is obviously, he's annoying. And he's very clearly, like, naive. I dislike him. He's intentionally written to be annoying and kind of a bit of a fool, even though he's like a sci-fi tech genius. But he exists for the plot.
He's a well-written character, but he's a pain in the ass.
Everything connects back to the core conflict as well. Everything ties towards the Dalek. The Dalek is the center catalyst of the plot. It's the episode title.
All of the events, yes.
I have to agree with Ethan that I don't like that they spoiled it. It would have been so good if this title had a more vague thing.
Yeah, I agree.
Like, like, what was Van Statten's name for the Dalek? What was Van Statten's name for the Dalek?
The Metaltron?
Yeah, what if the title was like Metaltron? Or something like that, and the next time didn't reveal. That would have been so good.
I reckon Whovians who knew the show would see that and go, that's gotta be a Dalek, right?
Well, that's the thing. If they had kept the title hidden and like the the next time thing hidden, because the first tease you get is from the Dalek's perspective, the Blue Eye Stalk. Get that for the first time when Simmons is torturing it. He's hilarious. I love his one-liner. What are you gonna do, sucker me? You get his skull crushed by the sucker plunger. And
design as well. It's a classic. Gold. She's great.
Yeah, again, all the characters, like I said here, Van Statten's memorable. He doesn't strictly sit in a black and white protagonist or antagonist caricature. He has some cartoonishly villainous traits, but his actions feel like grounded social commentary than satire. Even
this series is very heavy at the social commentary, but I love
it. It is. Oh, that's Russell T in general.
It's always amazing. He is a G. Yeah. With his casting for the new Who, not that I'm saying that a diversity cast is purely for social commentary.
Yeah.
But his mind's in the right place. He's giving opportunities where he can, and he takes the opportunity to take the piss out of the people who really deserve it, and that is especially prevalent in Series 1.
Yeah, I'm sorry we're taking so long on this, but this is an episode to take time. We will skip through the other ones. Do you remember the security woman on the stairs? She has like 2 minutes of screen time, and she has one of the best speeches in this series. She has this excellent speech of like, we imprison you, and maybe that was wrong, but the killing stops. You understand? The Dalek just looks at them. It's like, elevate.
Like, nah.
Also, this is not the first time we see a Dalek fly. That actually happened in Remembrance of the Daleks in 1997, 98 with Sylvester McCoy. That was the first time we saw a Dalek fly.
I'd forgotten about that.
But again, this was a first time for a lot of people who hadn't seen Old Who, like us. And yeah, that whole scene left a big imprint on me. I think it was a strong impression. It highlights the merciless power of the Dalek. And this is the thing, the Dalek itself is portrayed brilliantly. They took one of the grunts from the background, a damaged, half insane, tortured Dalek, and they showed just how deadly it was. It matches the Doctor in terms of intelligence, resourcefulness, efficient, and it's also very efficient and deadly. The entire second act of the episode demonstrates its power and ruthless killing immaculately. It's slow, it's simple, it just goes at its own pace, but it's this indestructible machine.
It's the merciless nature that this one insignificant being, this foot soldier, can cause so much damage and destruction. And I think it's amazing how
we see again the hallway scene. The Dalek has a hallway scene with the bullets melting. That was a good slow-mo scene. They did the slow-mo really well because it was CGI, so the frame rate wasn't crap. And the CGI actually is pretty good for the time. You can tell it's CGI, but only if you're looking closely. And then the scene in like the big room with like the balcony and the fire system where it shoots the fire thing so it starts raining, then it electrocutes everybody with like 2 shots.
The sprinklers.
Yeah, the sprinklers.
That is resourceful and clever.
And it's showing the efficiency. Daleks aren't just blindly, hating. They are systematic and they are efficient with how they exterminate non-Dalek life. Yeah. And it's very intimidating. Again, it also displays a variety of emotion, though, which makes it really interesting, because even before Rose's DNA is imprinted, it kind of tricks Rose by faking...
it manipulates her.
Manipulates her. Like, it pretends to be, weak, and instead of being, like, what it, with the Doctor, it's, it's, like, self-pitying and, like, sad.
It reminds me of what happens with 7 Part 2. When Clara's alone with Skaldak. Although that is different.
Yeah.
The companion is alone. It's their time to shine and show how they think and how they would handle a situation. And I love that because, yes, in previous episodes, in even the very first episode, we see Rose saving the world. Her, not the Doctor, but her.
But yeah, this is the thing. This is the brilliance.
This is the midpoint in the series, and she's still shining, and I love it. It's not just a companion following the Doctor around. She does her own thing, and I love it.
Yeah.
She has the freedom. As a character, she has the freedom to be resourceful and clever, and it's empowering and it's amazing.
Yeah, this is the great thing, right? The character dynamics of the Doctor and Rose in this episode are ironic. Rose's pacifist, open-minded, kind of noble outset to try and like talk to the Dalek and offer it help. Everything she does, all the things she says to it, her actions, all of that is only because the Doctor taught her that. She's doing what she's seen the Doctor do in the last few episodes. She wouldn't have done that before the episode Rose. But because of what the Doctor's shown her, she's offering it, peace and, a moral, optimistic outlook. But the Dalek manipulates this, and this time we see the Doctor acting completely differently to before. You said this earlier, and let me just find the part, right? The Doctor diverges from Rose's response to the Dalek, because the thing is, Rose is acting how the Doctor normally does here. The Doctor is diverging from his normal state because of the specific context of the bloody dark history between them. And that, Time War PTSD, he's, facing, his better self when Rose is standing in front of the Daleks. The Doctor facing himself and his own actions, because he's, been made into this, this warrior instead of, a healer, when it comes down to meeting a Dalek, of all things. And again, when the Dalek has this, hapless, pathetic small creature who just wants to feel the sunlight, it's a very instinctively human trait. It's innate.
Yes.
And it's very, it's very good symbolism.
It's very telling.
And again, it has a death witch at the end because of, the DNA thing, and his Dalek can't exist. But yeah, it's a great introduction to the Daleks. It's very touching.
It's a poetic entrance, because it's very... The Dalek dies at the end, but that doesn't even matter anymore because you know they're back. And they're back to stay.
Oh, yeah.
And I think that's very clear. Like,
Here's...
it's clear that they exist, they're out there, they will be back. That's the message that is being portrayed.
That's the thing. This is
finale, rather than them all coming out of nowhere, it's like...
Yeah, here's one.
Taste.
Yeah. What I wrote here is I noted that Nick Briggs and Christopher Eccleston's performance was great. That one scene where we get the entire Time War exposition in the room was epic. But also, like, we see a pacifist noble hero turn to a weathered, war-scarred, traumatized killer who has no hesitation to unleash his own hatred and rage onto the Dalek, even when Rose stands in the way because it's a mutating agenda.
Her.
Exactly, yeah, because it's different.
Obviously you can see his feelings growing for Rose, and I think that's an interesting thing here.
Yeah, when he has to shut the silo door and then he thinks Rose gets exterminated, his reaction there is just, it's just the acting is so good.
Yeah. Oh,
Eccleston and Piper are just legend. Yeah. Billie Piper has some amazing moments towards the finale as well.
I love Billie Piper.
Talk about her more later.
Yeah.
But yeah, and then there's also the iconic kill yourself scene. Have you seen this?
Oh god, yeah, kill yourself.
Hold on, let me find this. It's so funny. It's like the most.
Oh, can you drop a link?
Yes. Like,
thank you.
I looked this up, wondering has someone made this like a reaction meme as like an out of context thing.
I don't know when he got
put it in the tier. I put it in the tier list thread. But yeah, there's this out of context scene.
Kill yourself.
It's so funny.
It's like a reaction thing to send to people.
It's like because it's like the Doctor would never say that, but like this is him being driven to his limits.
It shouldn't be funny, but it is.
Anyway, I'll wrap this up now. I said, admittedly, there are a few cringe moments. Adam isn't very likable, although it is intentional. Simmons has a hilariously stupid death, but maybe these are just nitpicks. I actually don't agree with this criticism. Combined with a certain level of sci-fi bullshittery, not sure if I missed any holes in the plot, but everything had a reason so far, as I could see watching it twice. I should mention, I watched this episode twice, and I could not find any holes in the plot. Everything made perfect sense. It was very... Well, I was very tired when I watched it the first time, so I needed to rewatch it to get it in my head.
Valid.
But yeah, it was also that good. Again, just the characters are just... It's amazing seeing them...
It's a phenomenal episode. It's
pushed to their limits.
I love it. Yeah, definitely GOAT, no question.
Yeah, 10 out of 10.
Should we move on?
Let's move on now. I've taken more than enough time. We have been going for an hour and a half, and we're halfway, so let's keep moving. Long game. What do you think?
The long game. It's the perfect introduction to Satellite 5. Again, we don't know it yet, but this is not the last of Satellite 5. I also just love how it's a nice standalone episode. It's not filler. And this is where you see what I was talking about earlier about Adam's character. He is there. His existence in this episode is the Doctor proving his point to Rose of, I chose you. You are above and beyond.
It's great because what we're seeing is why
it's a stupid thing, and you see the consequences of that at the end with his mum.
Exactly. Yes, I'm glad you remember this. It's like you're highlighting, you know, the kind of people who travel the Doctor, the kind of people who don't, you know. Because
he makes that decision very clear.
The thing is, Adam was selfish. He wanted to steal information from the future for technological development in the present. He was like, you know, in it for himself, and that went against the Doctor's kind of like ideology. It's selflessness. It's not interfering, you know, unless you're doing like good. He's a bit of a hypocrite when it comes to that, but that's complex. But yeah, Rose on the other hand is like, you know, helpful, efficient, actually kind of, you know, intuitive. Rose is like one of the
commented on. The Doctor makes sarcastic comments at Adam like, oh, not he doesn't say be like Rose.
Rose is a leader and Adam isn't. Adam's not capable of leading.
Yeah, she's just fantastic.
Livy, welcome to the stream. The stream's radiating British right now. It is. It's all the British people here.
Livy's a Whovian, aren't you, Livy?
8-year-old kids in the time Fortnite.
I feel like we've talked about Doctor Who while
Livy's British. She's automatically watched at least a sizable chunk of Who. It's like in her blood.
Yes.
As British people, we've all seen Who. This is just a British cult. Anyone who watching this who isn't British is just like, what the fuck is happening? What the fuck is happening? No. Don't make me watch Doctor Who. The British people are coming. Anyway, okay. Unpopular opinion, maybe? I actually did not like this episode. I'm putting this in the bad category. This is the only episode in Series 1 that I did not enjoy. I thought it was meh. So, this is the first mid episode. It's not that bad, but it's boring and more static than previous episodes. The premise has intrigue, but it's very simple, and while every episode has some strengths, the social commentary and relevant themes of information and the news, great acting from Simon Pegg, and some nice world building to help set up the series finale. Also, the reference to Bad Wolf in this episode is a TV channel, announcing that the face of Boa is pregnant. Most of the other characters are flat and forgettable. The plot also feels a little contrived and convenient. Adam is utterly uninteresting, and the Jaggerfest is a bizarre choice of villain. Had the themes of corruption, misinformation, manipulation, etc. been explored more deeply, the episode might have been more captivating, but as it stands, it's really a 6 out of 10 for me. That's the thing. Like, other than the Doctor and Rose, I wasn't interested in any of the characters. They just felt like they existed for the plot. The Jaggerfest, like, how, like, it just wasn't explained well enough, like, what was going on with the Jaggerfest. I mean, it was explained, but it just felt, like, very contrived.
It was very one-dimensional.
Also, when Adam wanders off on his own, it's, like, the most boring thing. It's just setting up him getting the head chip and that whole thing at the end, which was just, it was just really dumb. And also...
The point of the episode is the point I mentioned between the Doctor and Rose about Adam. That is the main point of the episode. Even though there's other stuff that happens, the only other thing that's key that you have to remember and hold on to is Satellite 5. What it is at that moment in time, and hold on to that.
I know this is important, and like how they portray humanity and the Doctor setting them back on track, it's very good, but the episode on its own doesn't really stand that well. It's just like Adam being like doing the head spike thing and having the TARDIS key while the Doctor and Rose are captured, it's just so contrived and convenient. And I don't even remember the name of the other lady who ends up saving them in the end. I don't even remember her name. She's good, but she's it's not very...
for building the series narrative, but as a standalone episode, it is poor.
Also, again, it doesn't do anything amazing or notable for the Doctor and Rose's relationship or the series arc, other than introducing Satellite 5. Episode. That's it. Yeah. I think, again...
It's got 2 main points in that
because it's revealed in Bad Wolf Part of the Ways that the Daleks were behind the Jaggerfest the whole time. And it's not really explained. There's like there's a big gap in the story. It's like, hang on, how did the Daleks orchestrate the whole Jaggerfest thing? Because that should have been hinted at there. There should have been hinted at that the Jaggerfest was answering to a higher power. That would have been good.
On the walls or something like that. Maybe
no. Nothing that obvious. It should have been like the Jaggerfest after the Doctor and Rose leave, and like Simon Pegg, the editor, is like about to run away and he's signing off to the Jaggerfest. Because he translates right. They should have had a hint of like the Jaggerfest talking about someone else that the Jaggerfest was answering to.
Yes.
They should have had like just a one-liner that like none of the in-universe characters heard. That would have been for the audience. That would have been very good. There's a lot of things I would have done to improve this episode though. Like I just feel like the way the plot was structured and the characters, there's just a lot more that could have been done with them. So yeah, very disappointed. But it's the only episode in Series 1 that disappointed me. So if we're ready to move on.
I am happy to move on if you're happy to, yeah.
Oh man.
You summed that up pretty well.
Livy, did you not watch Series 1? I don't believe this.
Livy, no.
Livy, please.
Livy, no.
Tell me at least you've seen like the ones in the goat tier.
Key.
You can't skip
man. This is what I mean.
Tash, what do you think of Father's Day?
Father's Day's
next.
I think it's really heavy on the character building for Rose and the depth behind her character and her motivations for her actions, but also it's a learning curve for her that you can't change key events in the past. You can't do that.
Yes.
Even if you have that power, it is wrong and it has terrible consequences. And setting up a sci-fi time travel show is the perfect example because it hasn't yet happened. And it had to happen at some point in Series 1, otherwise it would have been left to the imagination of, what if you changed this? And Martha in Series 3, oh, what if I step on a butterfly, blah, blah, blah. It shows that consequence before anyone else brings it up.
I think this is like a requirement for any sci-fi ever. You have, like, anything that uses paradoxes in the plot, it needs to have some kind of exposition. This entire episode not only functions as a great way to introduce the concept and why, you know, certain things can't happen, because there's always like the plot of, oh, well, why don't they just travel back in time before in their own time stream and fix this? And this comes up in the finale, and this episode is setting that up. It's like, no, we can't do this because it violates the laws of time or something. I meant to hide, not time out. This is why I like to let my moderators do it, but no one was responding, so I just hit my thing on the phone. Thanks, Ethan. Yeah, so this episode, but more importantly, this episode massively progressed to Rose and Rose's character arc. She's, in a way, Rose is the protagonist of Series 1. It's her and the Doctor, like, they're like dual sons. It's their story, yeah.
Yeah.
But
it follows her from the beginning, so I do feel like, in a way, it is her story.
Exactly,
but, yeah,
Ethan. Back to the Future also did that really well. Fair enough, Livy. Yeah, you should rewatch him. Guys, if you want to join me in this Doctor Who rewatch, start watching. I'll be doing Series 2 in a couple of weeks. Well, in a month or two. Actually, got lots of time. But yeah.
In a couple of weeks, I still need to finish Series 1. Ooh.
Yeah. So the first thing I wrote was that this was a tearjerker. That's what this episode is. One of the most bittersweet and intimately emotional stories in Who. I love how personal this is. So pacing was excellent, the suspense was great, and the stakes were very, very high, and that helped really hammer this one down.
Motivate the story.
So the concept of the paradox is depicted in a way that makes sense. The music is sublime. You know that kind of like eerie like string synth noise? Like this episode was the first Doctor Who episode that scared me as a child. Seeing the perspective of the Reapers like eating people, that actually freaked me out because I knew what was happening.
Yeah.
And it was like, oh my god, because my mind, I had an imaginative young mind, and I was empathetic. The first thing I thought upon seeing, like, all the deaths, well, they weren't even deaths, they were not very graphic. It was just like, you'd see, like, items fall to the ground and a short yelp. My first thought is, oh my god, what are their families gonna think when they're gone, when they can't find them?
Oh my god.
Like, my first thought,
think of that?
the first thing, and I was like 5 years old, okay, but my first thought upon seeing all the people disappear was like, oh my god, what are their friends and family gonna think? That's gonna be so sad, they're never gonna see him again. And that, to me, is true horror. It's, the haunting aspect of losing something.
You don't know that you're never going to see that person again.
Yeah. And this is what a lot of horror doesn't get. It's when something that haunts me more than anything else is having a person or something very valuable, something very close, just disappear and never appear again without any explanation, without any kind of, like, emotional resolution. Luckily there is, because there's a good ending to this episode, but that is really eerie.
It's terrifying.
And also, one of the most terrifying moments in all television is when the Doctor goes to the TARDIS and the inside is hollow. The empty TARDIS, the bastion of hope and safety, hollow and empty with an interior that it's just the exterior, but like parallel. Like the TARDIS is gone, it's just a hollow shell. That was terrifying because the TARDIS is like this constant. It's this safe place. They literally use it in the plot in Christmas Invasion.
Safe haven, yeah.
When that's gone, you know something is wrong. You know it's big time fuck up. Yeah.
Yeah.
The Doctor's role in this, we see his generosity and kindness to Rose, is, you know, quite good because he's like, sure, Rose, all right, I'll tell you about, let you see your dad. And it's like, again, it's the opposite of what he was last episode. This is the Doctor as we know him. This is the Doctor not haunted by the time or not dragged down.
He's seen what's happened.
And also,
That's why.
It's perfectly timed, right? Because this is at the point where he has, you know, developed a relationship close enough with Rose, especially after, you know, Dalek.
To a point where it's not weird if they go back in time to see her dad. Like, they're comfortable with each other.
Exactly.
There, you know
but the Doctor, you know, because of his, like, status as a Time Lord, he reverts to the stupid ape's cynical, detached self when he sees that what Rose does, and, you know, calls the paradox. And he leaves Rose. He literally goes to the box to leave Rose in the 70s.
Cruel, actually.
And she's...
It's really cruel.
It's really sad, because they argue, like the way that Jackie and Pete bicker. And, like... Because she says he'll come back for her. Which he does, but not in the way that they thought. And, it's good. He's got layers. Yeah. And, there's a wholesome side to this otherworldly character. Seeing the Doctor disappear as well was one of the most eerie moments of this episode. Something else that terrified me in this was that the Doctor was gone. And it was only for like a minute.
How you are if you're stuck there.
Yeah.
And poor Rose, that's terrifying.
Because when the Doctor gets taken...
Because she knows she's something morally wrong, and that she's carrying that guilt, and obviously she can't tell her dad that. She can't say to him, oh, by the way, I'm your daughter for the future, blah, 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 I just saved you, you die. Like, she can't do that. She knows she cannot do that. So she's stuck with this guilt she can't talk to anybody about, and she's just stuck there in her mind. She's like, I'm forever now.
It's excellent. Because the thing is, it's only for like a minute, but as a child, it felt so much longer. The Doctor gets killed by a Reaper, and it's like, whoa. Again, the Doctor, like the TARDIS, always been there, always been like, you know, a symbol, a figure of hope, and like, you know, safety. And then when he's gone, like, it all falls apart, because it's like, what the hell do we do now? And it's like, there's no leader, no one knows what to do, but then Pete takes the lead, because he's actually a goat.
Giga Chad. Giga Chad Pete.
His return is all the more relieving as a result. Rose, I wrote for Rose. Rose, the protagonist of the story, her hubris and selfish desire to rewrite history force her to face the consequences of time. Billy Piper's acting in this episode is remarkable. This episode especially, Billy Piper's acting was just phenomenal. We see her being frustrated, confused, scared, and sad and angry.
Everybody would
it's
be.
finely tuned
It's personal.
to each scene.
Really
It's an emotional roller coaster in a good way. It's strong and dynamic. I didn't say emotional roller coaster. I said the emotions were strong and dynamic. You know, they didn't overdo it. Then you've got Pete Tyler. Tasha, what do you think of Pete?
I think Pete is a wonderful character, even just in this episode so far, without seeing.
Ooh, yeah.
Anything else?
You see what Ethan says in chat?
Oh, what did
Sorry.
Ethan say? Oh, sorry. No, that's okay. I should have been keeping an eye on chat. I haven't been.
Someday we should do a Back to the Future debate direct.
Yeah, absolutely.
Could be a good one.
I think Pete is even just as a one-off character at this point in time. I think it's wonderful, and again, it builds Rose's character. And Jackie. It develops these two already existing characters that Rose is in every episode.
Because you see the influence he has on them. It's great.
And it's the relationship between them there's more development there because it's just been the two of them for all that time. Like, Rose was just a baby.
Exactly.
And it sort of hits you and you're like, oh my god, she's never had her dad there.
Yeah, Pete really stands out.
Yeah, because obviously in the beginning you don't know whether Rose if her dad's dead or if they're divorced. Like, you don't know until this episode, I'm pretty sure. And it's like, that's actually really sad.
Yeah.
And then the series 2.
What I wrote here is that Pete was immediately iconic, distinctive. He stands out as a struggling and imperfect dad in a problematic marriage. It's really sad. We see some real, like, domestic issues with him and Jackie.
It's that sadly relatable factor and the modern realism,
because it's not what Rose expects. So we see her really upset by that. It's tragic.
Yes.
And he's a real maverick, okay? He juxtaposes Jackie. But he's also incredibly smart and patient.
But you can see how they're made for each other, and they make up in the end.
They do.
And he dies, and it's sad, and it's like, oh.
What I love about Pete is that he's actually really smart. He figures out everything without any kind of help or information from the Doctor. He figures out that Rose is his daughter, all grown up from the future, time travel the Doctor. He figures out that the car going by is the one that runs him over, that's supposed to kill him, which Rose came back to stop. He figures all of it out on his own, and Pete's the guy who saves the day, not the Doctor, because what happens is that Pete steps out to get run over, and then that fixes everything. Time resets, everyone comes back, it's all normal, the Reapers disappear. And
it's sad, but it's a fitting end.
Yeah, it's bittersweet.
You cannot bring somebody back from the dead.
And again, I said it, seeing the humans have so much agency in the story, rather than the Doctor saving the day through convenient sci-fi tackle once again, is a refreshing and compelling narrative choice. And the dilemma of Rose dealing with her guilt, and how Jackie, but even more so Pete, responds to her existence, is just incredible. And the acting was amazing. It's very emotional.
Another thing about the just the series overall is like the consistency of the pace. It's so well paced. You go from introduction of character to let's go to the future, let's go to the past. Now you've got the basics. Here's one or two other interesting stories. Here's another character that is a one-off, and this is why Rose is such a standout character compared to this random guy. Oh look, here's why you cannot change the past.
Again, every single episode informs something about the overall show.
Every single episode, it's got here that's put across, and you're learning the ropes of the traveling with the Doctor in this exciting new way. And you see it through the eyes of Rose, and she's just the perfect protagonist. In the sense that she's young, relatable, funny, smart. Yeah.
And she's got clear character flaws, which she learns from and improves from over this series.
She is by no means perfect.
She becomes less headstrong. She learns, to be less selfish. She learns, to be more patient.
Humbled.
She becomes more heroic and more like the Doctor. It's beautiful. She's the Ahsoka of this.
Yes.
And she didn't even start off that bad either. Again, the thing is though, the story is like a poem. There's like these repeating motifs. Go to him. The car drive around the church, alright? But what's really interesting is that ultimately, Rose does actually change history. She actually does affect the past, and it does show that actions have consequences, even though it's resolved in a good ending.
But it's not. This is the thing that Doctor Who lays the law down on.
Yeah.
Is fixed points.
Yes.
In time. His death is a fixed point.
Yes.
I'm speaking to Jackie as a random girl.
Yeah.
It's not a fixed point. His death is a fixed point that cannot change.
But even so,
the
flashback at the start and the end of the story changes. At the start, Jackie's telling young Rose, remember, like, little baby Rose, adorable 6-year-old Rose? She's like, oh yeah, you know, your father, it was a hit and run, we never found out who it was. In this, the location is changed. It wasn't a hit and run. The guy stops. It was just a kid. He made an accident. We don't know why. Pete just ran out. And there was a girl who was with him in his dying moments. History changes. We see the past change because of Rose's actions in the future, back in the past. And Jackie's memories and the anecdote are rewritten. And it also sets up another aspect of the finale. It's just little things, little seeds that all make sure the finale happens the way it does. It's just phenomenal.
Yes. Yeah.
It's a very satisfying watch.
I love that they have Jackie and Mickey be reoccurring characters because they're, without it needing to be said, they're key. They're key to the story, they're key to the next series without even knowing it.
Yeah.
It's just.
Anyway, this one's go. I gave it a 9 out of 10. I thought maybe it would have been nice if the Doctor and Pete had a bit more interaction and maybe more dialogue from Jackie, who felt like she had a little bit less screen time than she should have. The Reapers are also never mentioned by name. I only know that from like Doctor Who merch. And yeah, we don't never really get an explanation of what the Doctor was doing with the TARDIS key and how that would have stopped the Reapers. It's a bit weird. But yeah, I gave it 9 out of 10. Alright, The Empty Child, next 2-part, and this is the first episode written by Stephen Moffat.
I love The Empty Child, I love it.
Yeah.
And the Doctor dances.
Tell me about it, Tash.
Okay, so... It's an iconic setting, it's iconic British culture, you know, World War II, it's the Blitz. Rose is wearing the best thing she could have been wearing for this episode, the iconic Union Jack t-shirt.
Yes.
It's, again, it's such a small thing, but it's an important thing in the plot. Even though it doesn't change much, it's the fact she's dangling from that barrage balloon with a Union Jack.
Yeah, it's funny.
We also meet the wonderful Captain Jack.
Yes, we do.
He's a key character throughout the first 4 series of the show.
See you, Livy.
Because later on,
have a good one.
He has... Oh, is Livy going? Alright, see you, Livy. And obviously, Torchwood. So he's this key character. Again, no, you don't know it yet, but he's important. And he's likable, he's funny, he's, you know, he's all, like, loose with it. He's a really good a really good opposite to the Doctor. In the way that the Doctor at the moment is this stoic, oh, Mr. Spock, which is said in the episode. And suddenly you have this new element of, there's a third person. It's not the boyfriend, it's not the mum, it's not Adam, it's Jack, and he's this completely different dynamic that's just thrown in midway through the series, and I love that because it switches up the group dynamic.
It does,
and it improves the plot. Like, if it were just the Doctor and Rose in the story, it would have felt like filler. Even though it's a wonderful story, it's a brilliant, well-written story, but Jack being there adds something to it. Every episode, there's something different, there's something new, there's something is there that makes it go, that's why that's a good episode.
Yeah.
Jack is the reason for this
every single one.
Especially for The Empty Child. The Doctor Dance is a bit different, I'll get to that when we get there, but The Empty Child is Jack's moment to shine.
So, this goes to show the trust between the Doctor and Rose at this point in time now, post-Father's Day, which is excellent. Because again, the episodes could not have happened in a different order. Like, the order of the episodes is very important because of the characters', you know, dynamic. As each episode progresses, it changes slightly. The Doctor and Rose wander off, they separate, and Rose has an entire B plot while the Doctor's in the A plot. Like, the whole time, they're basically parallel, and then they only come back together towards the end of The Empty Child. That wouldn't really work earlier in the series because Rose wouldn't be as independent or as trusted by the Doctor at the time. I think he even gives her, like, not the Sonic, the TARDIS key or something? I don't remember. Anyway.
The psychic paper.
But yeah, what I wrote is that
like how it's a
generally... Yeah, it ticks the usual Who boxes, first of all. It's a solid Who story. Well-explained sci-fi, funny beats demonstrating the Doctor's unique perception of things. You know, like the mauve is the universal colour of danger, not red, and like, oh, when he's like asking the audience, have you seen it would have been a loud bomb, anything fell in the last month, and they all laugh because it's the air raid and you didn't realise. Yeah, the Blitz.
Because his TARDIS takes him anywhere and he doesn't realise what time it is or whatever.
Again, weird and scary antagonist. The weirdness is really nice. It's hilarious and horrifying, the cliffhanger.
Children
because
are terrifying.
it cries of that, are you my mummy? Twisting an ordinarily innocent plead into a cold, uneasy attack sound. This must have been hilarious for parents as well, but also kind of creepy. Again, the episode does some flaws. Slow pace in the beginning, a massive laser beam that Jack uses to save Rose is somehow not seen by anybody, either on the ground or in a plane.
I don't understand that.
So contrived. And there's some fairly random features. Like the cat that the Doctor spoke to before the TARDIS phone rang. I don't know what the point of that was. It's just kind of a random beat that didn't amount to anything. I don't know if it was symbolic.
Yeah.
But yeah, it just kind of
beat
happened.
that I do like is Jack and his fellow army officer.
Ah, but that's not random. That serves his character.
Bottom.
I was about to talk about that. But aside from that, this was excellent. Like, the plots are paced well and they, meet together quite nicely. And Captain Jack is a great juxtaposition to the Doctor. First of all, he's this flirtatious, charismatic sore freelancer. He's, like, very flamboyant, which is opposite to the Doctor's kind of like, strict, straight line, kind of attitude, which we obviously see tested in this episode, where we get a bit of the Doctor's flamboyance coming out of him. And again, like the whole Spock thing. Captain Jack's first line is excellent bottom, and then his next line is like, don't worry, Sergeant, you got an excellent bottom too. And he smiles. This is
right off the bat, that is his character. He flirts with anybody and everybody that moves.
And it's remarkable, really, how progressive this was for 2005, because it's just really solid, wholesome, not interfering, not shoved in your face, gay representation.
Sorry, Jack he's definitely the bile pan.
Oh no, he's pan easily.
He's
like this
pan,
isn't even gay. It's just like queer in general, and it's
just
like
everybody.
This is what modern like leftists don't get. It's just it's subtlety and purpose, like everything else.
In your face with a big rainbow flag.
Yeah.
And being like, hey, look, gay representation.
There's no rainbow flag. It's a British flag.
Just do it.
British sexual.
You know, it's like Yaz and the Doctor in the latest series.
Yeah.
It's understated. It's there. It's there from the get-go, in my opinion. I sort of noticed this.
Yeah.
When Yaz
Unlike Yaz and the Doctor, however, it's written with an actual purpose in mind.
Yes.
Because here's the thing. This is a major part of Captain Jack's character, that he's very flirty. So having his sexual orientation be noted immediately. The thing, it's not just thrown in there for representation's sake, and this is what, this is what Twitter users get wrong these days. You don't throw in representation and that for its own sake. You do it for, to enhance characters and plot. This directly impacts Captain Jack's, personality and his choices, and therefore the plot. It's actually relevant to the overall story. It's not just there because, we need to tick the gay box. And this is what shows these days get completely wrong. They don't actually have a point to someone. Oh, you're queer. It's just for if it doesn't actually affect anything, like with anything else, there's no point bringing it up. Maybe Captain Jack really likes apples, but that's not mentioned because it wouldn't be relevant to the episode.
I gotta go meet a girl, but you got an excellent bottom.
That was it. Thank you. But yeah, it's great.
But just quickly, what I love about this is that while Jack is the most flirtatious and openly sexual person throughout all of Doctor Who.
Yeah, definitely, easily.
He's not at any point a romantic rival.
That's even more interesting. Yeah.
He sees the boundaries between them. He sees that there is something there, and he doesn't interfere with that. I love that about Jack.
He's like the opposite of Adam.
He flirts with Rose. But he sees what's between these two, and he rolls with it. He's like, yeah, I'm chilling with these guys. We're going along. We're having an adventure.
Jack is actually quite different when he's first introduced here than he is in Series 3 onwards. He's actually kind of a bad guy. He's more like Van Staten in that he's not really good or evil. He's a con man. He's deliberately out for himself. He's selfish. He's uncaring and manipulative at first. And this is where we see why, the difference between the Doctor and Jack. Jack, the reason he's not a romantic interest is because he's ingenuine. He's not actually interested in Rose at all. He's just there to manipulate her with his suave demeanor into a business talk, and he's very stern about it. The Doctor, meanwhile, is genuine. He's honest.
I love that Rose is doing her own thing there as well. She's gone off to negotiate with this.
Yeah, she's just having a laugh.
Suave random guy who's apparently not from...
She's a little, like, high after, like, the teleporter. She's, like, a bit airheaded. It's quite funny.
Yeah, it's really funny. And, like, I think she's swept off her feet a little bit. Because
Yes.
at this point, Jack hasn't met the Doctor, so he's being all flirtatious and...
So he's got all this
even though-
spectacle and stuff, yeah.
Even though that's going through his head as a business deal, so obviously there's the motive there. But from Rose's point of view, the audience's perspective, it's like, ooh, who's this fun character? Like, this is cool.
In addition to Jack,
And they build on that.
I want to talk about the last thing, is that there's a good balance between show and tell in the story, good progress in unraveling the mystery, and heartfelt realism in the setting. Nancy's entire character.
Nancy, we've even touched on Nancy.
The homeless children,
she's
the
one
air
of the best
raids,
thing about
Dr.
the story.
Constantine, the grounded view into 1941 really helps the immersion of the story. And the Doctor even has this brief speech about the British defending the advance of the Nazis. It's very Doctorish. You love to see it. So I'm going to give this one an 8 out of 10. This is a fantastic episode.
Give it GOAT because it's this is through rose-tinted glasses, I know, because I haven't seen it in a while, and it is what that two-parter is one of my nostalgic, absolute favourite episodes of all time of Doctor Who.
Well,
But I love the empty child, the Doctor dances.
you'll
I
like what I'm
can't
doing
think-
with the Doctor
I honestly
dances.
cannot find a flaw with it.
Yeah.
At least at the moment in my head. There probably are flaws, but there's so much good that it overtakes it. Like,
Yeah.
you've got a curveball of a character thrown in, it's a good story, good one-off characters, terrifying empty child enemy thing.
Again,
You've
the
got
way that's built up,
Constantine,
and the Doctor and Nancy
and
kind of
the
like...
cliffhanger. The
dynamic, it's
cliffhanger at the end is so good. And it's funny. There's
Yeah.
good humour throughout.
Yes.
And it's just fantastic.
Oh, and that's built on the Doctor dances. I'm giving the GOAT tier, if that makes you happy,
Yes,
because
I
this
was about
is
to-
like
I
a
was
10
about
out of
to do the
10.
same. So I was going to say, continuing on from that, unless you want to go first.
No, you go first. You go first.
So continuing straight on, I can't imagine having to wait for this to air. Even if it's just a week, it's like, oh my god, we need to know what happens.
Right,
We need to
yeah.
know. Because it picks up right where it left off. Go to your room.
Go
They get
to
out there
your room. Those would have been terrible last
Squareness
words.
The squareness gun.
Yes.
Which is like
Gun
so
of
cool. And
squareness.
as Ethan was saying, the banana thing.
Rose, I'm trying to resonate concrete.
Yeah. That was such a good impression.
Oh, is
Yeah,
it?
like,
Interesting.
Yeah, I thought it was. But anyway,
Right.
so they go to the kid's room without knowing, and then there's that whole thing of you sent it to it. So the tape. That is horrific. That is terrifying.
Yes.
When you don't. The first time you watch it, unless you're really keeping an eye out for this kind of thing, which I mean, who is? What kind of nerd are you? Like.
An adult, maybe?
Uh,
I knew
okay,
what was
maybe,
coming
but, like,
because I've seen it before, though. Yeah.
Yeah, absolutely. You know it's coming because you've seen it before. We've grown up with it. We'll never have that fresh opinion of this because of that. But that being said, it's a wonderful twist where they go, the tape stopped 30 seconds ago, and a second ago you hear the kid going, "Are you my mommy?"
Yeah.
And it's that sort of realization of, oh my god, it's in the room with them.
Yeah.
How are they going to get out of this one?
That
And they
that one
leave
was
again.
excellent.
And then there's the rest. And he's like, I'm really sorry. The Doctor rips into him, but it's all fine. It gets fixed. Everybody lives. It's a wonderful
Just this
resolution.
once, everybody lives. Great
Thing
scene.
I forgot to
Immortal
mention, 'cause
scene.
I have flown through that. The world doesn't end when the Doctor dances.
That's why the title of the episode. Yeah.
That scene is just beautiful.
It
And
is.
then they get teleported, and it's that transition. It's a wonderful transition because they don't even realize.
Didn't look like
they're
dancing.
there.
Didn't feel like dancing.
It's wonderful, and it's again, it's building up that that understated romantic tension between the two main characters.
Yeah.
And again, Jack sees it. He knows he sees it.
Yeah.
And then they get off Jack's ship. and
So
you've got
much
that
character
thing of-
progression. Yeah.
You've got that thing of Jack's now at a loose end, like, well, what do I do now? My ship's just blown up.
Ah, yeah. Right, before we do this,
So
can
that,
I
like-
talk about the rest of the episode? I want to go through it.
Yes, sorry, yes, go for it.
So before we talk about the
I
ending.
whiz through that.
Plot-wise, alright, everything connects fluidly and nicely. The way the cliffhanger is resolved is really clever and quite funny. Because
Yes.
he literally just, it's a child, so you tell him to go to the room. And it actually works, it's quite funny. Nancy getting out of hot water with the residents and resolving that plot issue of her being found by the people she was stealing from is quite funny. And again, nicely following up on the
was very
black
funny.
market implications first mentioned in part 1. Because they got there through the black market, so if they don't let her go, then she'll tell the police that they're actually committing crimes as well. Again, it goes to show the realism of the depravity of wartime, what people resort to.
Yes.
It's great because this is a supposedly upper class.
Family,
Family. Again, they're all literally fat, symbolic, and it's like they're
Yes, Ethan. Yeah.
The impression is that these are well-to-do family. They've got enough to spare, but actually no, they're cheating. They're breaking the law. They're just as rebellious and as evildoers, as much as Nancy is.
Rose is chaotic good.
Yeah, chaotic good. Nancy's also chaotic neutral, I would say.
Yes, she's more of a morally grey.
She's excellent.
She will do anything for the people, for her family and the people she cares about, even if it's morally wrong. But then I see the motive of the people that she was.
She's good though. Actually, she couldn't kill someone. I can't see Nancy killing anyone.
She wouldn't kill.
Yeah.
She never intentionally harms people. She's very much a Robin Hood that she would take from.
Yes, Ethan. Yeah.
The disgusting people who.
So yeah, the gas mask transformation is horrifying. Yeah.
But yeah, anyway.
So Jack is a retro, flamboyant, stylish criminal, whereas the Doctor is a lawful, reserved do-gooder who's used pacifism over violence, because Jack is a gun, the Doctor doesn't do guns. He's like a Sonic what? Well, it's Sonic. Screwdriver. What? He's like listing all these weapons, and it's just got a screwdriver.
The banter is amazing.
And the banana.
It's a new element. It's another new relationship that's introduced.
I didn't understand the banana gag when I was younger, because it's actually quite complicated. You have to listen closely to the voice lines to understand the banana gag. But it's a visual gag. The banana being swapped out for Jack's gun is a visual gag to symbolically match up with the implication that the Doctor destroyed the weapons factory that Jack got his gun from, with the banana plantation replacing it since. If you listen to what they're saying, it's a
gag. It's a very good
pretty
one.
funny. Rose is a practical foil who's like the one with the brain cell when it's threw them together. They're brilliant, and she's the one who helps them get out.
Goes, hang on, guys, we need to do something about
this. And
this.
she gets the gun through the floor. She lets them know when they're being chased. It's great. The gas mask zombies, I just realised they're like SCP-049 because they touch you. They can't touch you, and then you're.
They're the perfect mix of this episode's the perfect mix of action, sci-fi, and character development and introducing new themes. I love it. I say this about every episode, but it's a really good mix, and I love the amount of action in this one, because the one before was a bit action.
Again, it's a two-parter.
Because it was because Father's Day, was character development heavy. There was less action, still action, but less. So the Doctor Dance is very much running through corridors.
Again, it's like a different kind of episode. They're keeping it fresh, mixing it with different kinds of stories, which is what the show needs.
Definitely a more scary tone, which I like.
It was. Again, this one was a bit creepy.
The right amount for it to be like it's exploring new themes as a brand new show.
Yeah.
But it's keeping to the core nature that is Doctor Who.
Yeah.
That there's a happy ending, all is well with the main characters, at least relatively.
Yeah.
And it's a good adventure.
Yeah, exactly. The thing I wrote here that sums that up: the dialogue, cinematography, and acting have all shined brilliantly throughout this episode, and the creativity doesn't stop with the conclusion. So that Jack appears to vanish, but then he catches the bomb, and the Doctor didn't make a big deal because he knew Jack was going to go do that. Which again progresses his character into a more selfless and a more, moral, honest, honourable character. Because Jack's actually a bit of a villain when we first meet him. He's quite dishonourable, but he improves.
He's done a bad thing, but he makes up.
Because it's his fault that all this has happened. And the Chula ambulance warship, that's what it is. We finally get Nancy responding to Jamie and answering the question. Because are you my mummy? It's been a question this whole time. The empty child was the question, the Doctor Dances was the answer. Nancy finally responds, and it's like, yes, I am your mummy, and it's so wholesome. It's heartfelt, it's magnificent, it resolves her guilt, and it also fixes the sci-fi aspect of it. It gives the nanogenes the DNA to fix the gas mask zombies. Everybody lives. It has
the historical accuracy of a young woman. How old is she? She's probably
19.
19,
I believe.
My age. Her and Rose are the same age. If I had a kid that age, she must have had him when she was he's what?
16.
5?
Oh man, maybe she's
16,
a bit older actually. I think she was 16 when she had the child.
She was 16 when she had the child. He's probably
so it's like 20, 21.
4. So about 20, I'd say.
I can't remember.
Which is still.
But yeah,
a child
it's
that age. Having a baby at 16, I can't imagine that.
Yeah, me neither.
And dealing with that in the 1940s, in the middle of the London Blitz.
It's great. It's British. It's historical. It's very grounded. This episode.
It touches on a very important issue of the time.
And like, it feels essentially Doctor Who, because the Nancy Jamie dynamic feels like you could put that in any drama without the sci-fi stuff, and it would be like very heartfelt, good British drama. But then having the layer of, like, the gas mask zombies and the nanogenes and that sci-fi element and the way they're mixed and complement each other, that is essential Doctor Who right there. It is the Doctor Who vibe. It's the British drama with the sci-fi edge.
It's the family values with the sci-fi.
Or the vice versa. And, yeah, the family values, the great entertainment for kids and adults alike. The Doctor says, what boy wouldn't tear the world down for his mummy? I can't remember, but I said it works on multiple levels, like, because it's kids and adults watching.
Yeah,
it's excellent.
Wholesome. It's very, very wholesome.
Oh, and also, the euphemism for dancing, which means
Yes,
sex, by the way, for those who didn't pick up on that.
Pick up on that.
I only found out when, like, Sam or Joe or Dad told me, like, years ago, but that's a great example of how this episode works
onto it recently
on multiple levels. Because kids will understand it as literally dancing, which, you know, close enough.
Which they do in the episodes. So
exactly,
okay.
but, like, it's generally, you know, the Doctor dances, it's a metaphor for him being more like Jack, being flirtatious and cheeky and flamboyant and kind of, like, you know, more expressive.
War-ridden era and embracing peace and love.
And being more energetic and open rather than, like, closed off and stiff and detached. And
you've seen both sides of him by this point. You've seen his flirtatious fun side, and you've seen his dark, stormy, I am the oncoming storm.
And again, this Tasha, we're gonna let you finally talk again now, because this comes back to the resolution and the ending of the episode. I'll just say it.
I like that they tie up the loose ends.
Yeah, Nancy and Jamie get a heartfelt moment. Dr. Constantine gets a good send-off. I love the meta-political point about the welfare state, and how he's like, oh yeah, if you have any questions, just tell your patients you're a good doctor, because one of them's, like, grown their leg back because of the nanogenes. It's great. And Jack, appearing to have sacrificed himself, trapped in space with a bomb he cannot dispose of, is saved at the last minute and invited to the TARDIS, when the musical motifs close out an episode that introduced Jack, told a grounded and compelling story that connected family and the Blitz to sci-fi alien tech, and developed the Doctor's personality, because he dances in the end. It's great.
Which is a heavy implication that he's open to that relationship with Rose.
Yes, of course, I forgot about that. Yeah.
The title is The Doctor Dances, which is very much going...
It's a euphemism for sex, romance, yeah.
It's not just, you know, the more physical side. It's also just being open emotionally to being intimate with someone. That takes
yes, that's what I'm for. Intimacy.
Sure of yourself, yeah.
It's like the Doctor being intimate.
Physical intimacy, yeah.
Because you're right. It's understated, but yeah, there's a romantic tension between the Doctor and Rose that is slowly growing.
Which really ties well into the next episode. Again, it ties
episode 11.
The way it's formatted is so well because the next episode's back on Earth.
All right, so yeah, Boomtown.
The romantic tension's gonna hit ahead.
This is taking us back to Earth, back to Mickey, setting us up for the finale. Okay, so Tash, what do you think? Tell us about this episode.
I think, well, we have Team TARDIS. I'll just say that. Which is wonderful, because the last time that there were 4 people travelling in the TARDIS together was, a long time ago. I'm trying to remember, because obviously I don't know all my classic Who, but I don't think the 7th Doctor ever had more than 1. Was it just him and Ace, or was there was
another one which crossed over from the 6th Doctor. There was usually a bit of crossover, but
there was only ever the 3 of them, and then before that, the 6th Doctor, I don't really remember, but I don't think he had that many.
I don't even remember the names.
And then the 5th Doctor, Peter Davison, was probably the last time there were ever that many people travelling in the TARDIS together. So you've got the Doctor, you have Rose, Jack, and Mickey, and this is where it gets interesting, because obviously the Rose and Doctor have been travelling together for a while now, so they've grown together, they've grown intimate, they've met Jack, Mickey meets Jack, and they have this ongoing banter which recurs in later series, which I think is wonderful.
Alonzi. Magyar Ezred, welcome to the stream. How you doing?
I think Mickey, when Rose ran off with the Doctor, he was like, obviously would have been upset, but I doubt he would have thought that much of it.
Well, no, Mickey's whole character is that he is very attached to Rose. They had a great, healthy relationship going on for a long time before the Doctor showed up.
Yes.
And he's just kind of had Rose taken away from him, and he feels very bitter about it.
World War III is where he's realised, obviously before then, but this is when we see how he's changed as a person.
Yeah.
And he's moved on with his life. A year later, obviously he still speaks to Jackie and stuff, but he's moved on.
Yeah, it's
and then
unfortunate.
we're back on Earth again, and it's like, Mickey's now waited for her, I think.
Yes.
And he's waited all this time, and it's like, yeah.
Again,
But he's so devoted to her that he keeps going right until the end of the episode.
Dude, why is Gustavo Fring playing Control Ultimate Edition like 20 times? What the fuck is happening on Steam?
Bruh.
Who even is this guy? I don't remember.
Boomtown.
It's very
distracting.
distracting. Blonfell Fold Passamir Day Celine or something.
Oh, you're talking about that.
They call her Margaret, because that's
Margaret.
the person she's impersonating. Margaret the Celine.
I like
Dude,
how
what the
we
fuck is
see
this?
Mickey and Rose going out on a date, because she's trying to patch things up with him, and obviously she's got that conflict of interest that's now come to a head, finally.
Yeah.
After however many episodes, 10 episodes.
10 episodes, yes.
So she's got this conflict of interest. She's going out with Mickey, probably going to see how it goes. Meanwhile, the doctor's trying to work things out. Jack's with the doctor, I believe, or they're doing something.
Well, this is the thing I wanted to talk about, actually. The plot structure is simple, but effective. So you got Blonde/Margaret's, plot, which fails, because the doctor's smart, and he catches her with the help of Team TARDIS, and she's foiled, but she has a plan B that comes into play at the end. And while she's being kept prisoner, before they send off to Araxacorica Pretorius to be executed, she challenges the morality of the Doctor. We see her demonstrate compassion early in the episode, despite trying to kill multiple times. Because it opens, right, with her as the mayor, announcing things. There's someone interviewing her and warning about how, the curse, because there's been loads of deaths associated with the project, because she's been killing people who have been, finding out too much. And she almost goes for the kill, but then she decides not to. And it's quite an interesting scene, because she lets one live, basically.
Because it'll give her a good rest.
And she has some very good arguments in her defense of whether or not she actually deserves execution. Especially in that date she goes on with the Doctor.
Yes, I love that scene.
Again,
with the wine and the nail and oh, it's hilarious.
The way, again, with the structure, Mickey meets Jack, which is awesome. Also, the idea of the TARDIS needing to recharge to go on the rift, I don't know why this wasn't ever utilised or referenced again, because this is a really convenient and realistic plot point that they could have kept doing. Is it used again?
Series 3 finale, that's how Jack comes back. They land on the rift, he runs at the TARDIS, they go to Utopia.
Oh yeah, but it doesn't actually, does it need to charge there? Is that why they're there?
It does charge, and then the Doctor sees Jack and he's like...
Because we never see this after again, which is a bit of a shame, so it was a quite nice plot point.
We don't see it, but it's happening while they're there.
Anyway, it starts off with them all working together and Jack being Jack, and they have all this banter. It's like, oh, it's having such a nice day, because you see them having laughing and having fish and chips, and even Jack and Mickey are getting. Mickey finishes Jack's joke punchline, and then they get a newspaper, and it's Margaret's back as mayor. Yeah. And then they catch her with the teleportation scene, which is quite funny. And again, the social commentary and the memes about the Welsh are great.
The secretary guy being like,
yeah.
What is it? He says she's in a meeting, and then he's like, oh, she's climbing out the window, isn't she?
Yes, it's brilliant.
It's very funny.
But yeah, anyway, and then the plot splits, and the great thing is that there isn't any redundant character. The most redundant character is Jack, who's actually doing something really important, even if it doesn't have much screen time. And it's every character is in use, every character is doing something. Jack, again, has the least to do, so he's just the one fixing the TARDIS. He's at the console tweaking it. While that's happening, Rose goes on an awkward date with Mickey, because Mickey asked her, and the Doctor's like, sure. And then the Doctor and Blonde go on their own date. Last meal kind of thing, and it's hilarious because she's constantly trying to kill him, and he's just casually chatting and dealing with it. She's has a poisonous breath and a poisonous dart from her fingertip, and he stops all of it. It's hilarious, and it's a symbolic thing of their back and forth about arguing about what they're gonna do, because the Doctor's morality is pretty well questioned here. And it's only a killer would know that, when he's yo, you let one live to relieve yourself of guilt. And it's she brings that guilt onto him of calling back to his ruthless side. Does his killer's knowledge come directly from the Time War? Did the Doctor become a mass murderer who would let one live, to make himself feel better about it, because how else would he know? And yeah, there's a lot of great philosophy, and the character development, it's really strong. It's one of the best scenes.
Yes. Yeah.
Then Rose goes on a date with Mickey. They have a more dynamic and awkward and detached relationship. You can really tell.
You can tell time's passed.
So much more awkward and detached. And it's really sad it's really tragic, because although Rose is the protagonist, she's really the one in the wrong here. I watched this, and I was like, oh my god, Nikki's basically been abused. He's been neglected and misled.
Messed around here.
Mickey, to be fair, Mickey, you know, if I was Mickey, I wouldn't still be, like, chasing Rose and hang on to Rose as much, but he's been neglected and misled, and kind of, like, you know...
He's like your premium simp, but I say in a good way.
He's not a simp, he's just honourable. Mickey's honourable. Rose has been a bit dishonourable, in my opinion, because she's not been very clear with Mickey about their relationship.
My main reservation with Rose as a character is that she was dishonest to him a number of times, and uncaring when it's like, come on.
What I've said is that Rose has adopted the Doctor's irresponsibility, always running into danger, ditching Mickey in the middle of a heartfelt discussion as soon as it's anything unusual. Like, the Earth starts rumbling, and the rift happens, and she literally leaves in mid-conversation. Even while he's yelling at her.
Stay with him so they were both safe together. She leaves him when either of them could easily die at any moment. She goes running off into danger. It's
towards the TARDIS. And she's clearly remorseful about it at the end. She's very remorseful, but her character flaws are highlighted. She, in the moment, at the spur of the moment, didn't think about Mickey at all, and no empathy. And the last stuff we see of him is this bitter, shadowed man behind, like, flames. And it's just absolutely fantastic symbolism.
I love
very
it
sad.
Because I hate when characters... She's not a Mary Sue.
No.
I can see where I'm going with this.
Yeah.
Characters that have no imperfections are just...
boring.
They're not relatable, they're boring, there's
Mary
no room for
Sue.
development, there's no room for good interactions with other characters. I'm gonna say one word, Ray.
Yeah.
Sorry, she's the perfect example of what a character should never be at the beginning of or just ever.
Yeah.
She has no character flaws whatsoever. Rose, she's human, or as the Doctor would say, only human. She's human. No human is ever perfect.
And neither is the Doctor. The Doctor's not some perfect space god either. It's just
very true. Very, very true. But in Rose's case, you see her flaws. You see her for who she is. It's very much from her point of view, this series. It shows what other characters are doing, yes, but her experiences are very well portrayed. Yeah. And you see her reactions to new things, her emotions, how she deals with real life situations with Mickey. Yeah. And maybe she doesn't handle it very well. But again, she's only 19.
Yeah.
I say that as a 19-year-old.
Yeah.
Like, there's a certain lack of wisdom, which I'd say every 19-year-old lacks at that point in their life.
Yeah.
But she learns from it, she grows from it, in going into the series finale in the next series. She cares, that's the main thing. Even if in that moment she did something wrong, she, like you said, she's very remorseful at the end of the episode.
And that's what ultimately makes Rose a good character, is that she's always willing to improve. She's open-minded, so regardless of her flaws, she improves upon them. She, like, makes herself a better person. And that's what makes her a fitting companion for the Doctor. It's the exact reason why Adam wasn't invited to the TARDIS. He had no desire for self-improvement.
He was selfish and just distrustful, unloyal.
I also wanted to point out that it's really interesting in the ending because, you know, there's a few things I've said here, but the Doctor doesn't actually know what to do with Blonde exactly, and he doesn't actually know what the TARDIS is like, the heart of the TARDIS will actually do. And she's quite a cunning and intelligent character, and it looks like she's going to defeat him, but by opening the, you know, the heart of the TARDIS, she actually gets the second chance as an egg. She gets, like, reverted to, like, you know, pre-born. Yeah. And it's a beautifully peaceful and anti-violence solution to her as a threat, but also a way to end her character arc with, like, a hopeful, positive message. Rather than sending her to be executed for a crime, she gets a second chance without being a threat anymore. It's beautiful. There's also a lot of references in this episode. Gwyneth and the Gelth are referenced from episode 2, Jack obviously from episodes 8 and 9, Mickey from the very first, and a bunch of others, Blonde from episodes 4 and 5, because this is a follow-up, Boomtown, which I'm putting in S tier by the way, this is a follow-up from Aliens of London and World War 3, as well as referencing Empty Child, Dr. Dances, you know, Rose, and The Unquiet Dead, because the rift thing established in Wales and Cardiff.
I'm between GOAT and Fantastic because yes, it was a wonderful episode. We've touched on all the good points. But like you briefly mentioned, Jack's barely in it.
Nah, I don't think that was a problem. I said here, he actually got to do some of the sci-fi jargon, said the Doctor this time. They did the best they could with him. Also, this is the first time the Doctor and Rose recognise that Bad Wolf has been following them across time. There's a little moment where they talk about it. But yeah, I wouldn't change anything about this episode. I get it 10 out of 10. I think this episode is actually perfect. I think it does everything it needs to do to set up Bad Wolf. Speaking of which, it's time.
Go party, get the ways.
Guys, I've noticed that the OK slot has been empty, so I think I'm just going to shift everything down a 1. I'm going to say Unquite Dead ends on the OK, because like this is empty. Either that, or I could just move the long game to OK, rather than bad. I don't know. I'm going to leave it there.
Should I tell you what I currently have? Or
No, show it at the end. Show it at the end. We got 3 more episodes to do. Christmas Invasion after this. Where's the Crimbo Invasion? Hey. But yeah, so Bad Wolf. What do you think, Tish?
Bad Wolf. I actually really love this one. I think it's fantastic because I'm going to keep using that word.
Fantastic. It's the perfect word.
Fantastic. I think it's a wonderful introduction to the series finale because you're back in a familiar setting, but it's completely different. You're in Satellite 5, you're like, oh, it's Satellite 5. Oh, it's completely different. What happened?
That's one of the best reveals. I love that.
It's the game station. And the characters get thrown in. They're immediately split up. You're thrown into this story, and it's like, what is going on? Where are they?
Yeah.
So you've got the Doctor's in Big Brother, which is frankly hilarious.
Yes.
And the characters he meets there are interesting as well, because while they're your typical big, like your average Joes of Earth, they're interesting. And you've got Linda.
Linda with a Y.
Linda with a Y, even.
Yeah.
Linda with a Y is. Oh, I'm always sad watching Bad Wolf and stuff because she was good. She was just like Rose. She's one of the Roses of the world. And I'm not saying that she's exactly the same because they are 2 very different people, but she has that same compassion and bravery and fearlessness to stand up to do what's right. And okay, yes, she was scared when she died, but she put on a brave face and she was alone. Yeah. That's the terrifying thing. She was alone.
Right? Let me just go from the start here. This episode throws the viewer in with a bizarre and confusing scene, and it rotates between the Doctor, Rose, and Jack perfectly. It rotates between the 3 on an even basis. And the humour, as well as the plot and character progression, is great. It's witty and it's subversive because it parodies all these real-life contemporary entertainment shows in a horrifying twist. And the characters are very suited. You know, the Doctor, with his smart aleck and ultimately kind demeanour, is paired with Linda. It's really nice how he always has a companion. Because he has to have a foil for him to bounce off, otherwise his character's not as interesting. Because then he won't really be saying or doing anything if he's on his own. But yeah. Well, to be fair, heaven sent. And you got Rose's attitude changing from hysterical laughter at the game because she doesn't know what's going on. She thinks it's hilarious. To hysterical horror as she sees the android execute the losing participants, as well as Jack's.
It suddenly gets very real.
Yeah,
because
the tonal shift is.
You're jumping from the Doctor being thrown into it's just Big Brother.
Exactly. Yeah, they all have this.
Contemporary, realistic. It's the relatability. That's the word I'm looking for. It's the contemporary relatability of these game shows.
Yeah.
Everyone knows Big Brother. Everyone knows The Weakest Link. You know.
Yeah.
These are. It's like I don't want to be snooty, but it's like your average TV trash.
Yeah. Well, they were very mass-produced and, low bar, I'll say that much.
Reality TV and game shows and stuff.
Yeah.
Everybody watches.
I do enjoy The Weakest Link, but there are better shows. And I was going to say as well, Jack's flirtatious and bombastic charisma is immaculately suited to the defabricator scenes, and I love seeing his tech resourcefulness because he's from way in the future. He turns it into a gun he can use, which is used later on. Jack's brilliant in this episode.
You're forgetting the minigun.
Oh yeah, but you're
where on earth are you keeping that?
But you're unarmed. Where on earth are you keeping that?
Don't want to know.
Yeah, don't want to know. It's great. And then the reveal that they're on board Satellite 5 is dramatic and weighty. I think the most horrifying thing in this episode is I made this world. The Doctor, he was carelessly the same way Rose was with Boomtown for Mickey, just you know, carelessly, joyfully strolling out like, I'm done, I fixed this. He didn't stick around, he didn't deal with the consequences, even though that character, whose name I forget, she was, you know, telling him, what do we got to tell people? And the thing is, what happens is that because of the Doctor being irresponsible, he created hell. He created hell on Earth. The last 100 years have just been... because the humans didn't take intuition, because he left a human race that had been, you know...
in the dark.
Babied and spoon-fed and turned into mindless drones for so long. They didn't have the intuition to rebuild.
Perspective.
Yeah. Because Linda lived it.
She tells the Doctor, she's like, this is what happened.
Which is another reason why it's great that she's there, because she fills in the gaps since the long game.
She fills in the gaps that we otherwise wouldn't have the context for. Yeah. I love how it goes from these snappy little game shows to suddenly, oh my god, this is...
Yeah.
People die here, they go missing, or whatever, like, they think they die.
Exactly. I'm going to read out my whole paragraph on this, because I think this is important. So I did say that we see firsthand that actions have consequences. He made this world, this hellish, foul, ultra-commercialized, semi-uninhabitable Earth, because I mentioned there's a smog, which means they can't go out at certain hours of the day. The Doctor might have vanquished the evil behind Satellite 5, but he made zero effort to aid in the rebuilding process or do any work to actually support the humans long-term. He left them to rot. Yes. But also... this is something I don't like about this episode, and it's partly the long game's fault. I just wish the long game had more foreshadowing and intrigue to help connect the dots between how exactly everything was planned and schemed by the Daleks. How did the Daleks get the Jagrafest to control the station and everything? It was never explained, doesn't really need to be, but it's frustrating. None of the characters from the long game have any relevance here 100 years later. There is no mention of anything from the long game.
Yeah.
And it's like...
the numbers above the lifts, that's like it.
Yeah. It's just the long game.
It's a shell of the place it once was, and
the long game could have been goat tier, but no.
The lack of continuation is frustrating.
Yeah, the continuity. The Controller's an interesting character. She doesn't have much dialogue. She has one interaction with the Doctor, but the scene speaks a lot, especially with the context that she's been hooked up since she was 5 years old. She's a great side character.
Yeah, that's devastating when that happens. She said since she was 5.
And she betrays her masters. And again, the secret of the Daleks isn't very well kept. Like, the Daleks are made really obvious, which I don't like. They're shown in the next time, like, you can see the Daleks before the characters find out. I really wish they built up the mystery a bit more with either of the Daleks' appearances, because the Daleks have a very weighty, presence in Doctor Who. But even if you watch the next time, you can see a reflection and a Dalek eye stalk before the Doctor finds out, and it's just kind of, well, that doesn't impact as much, which is a bit of a shame.
Yeah.
But yeah, we're seeing now the result of the Doctor and Rose's building relationship. It's come so far now that when Rose dies, the shock horror is so strong. We get this whole sequence of the Doctor just like in shock. And he's being pushed to his limits. And we see his kind of like vengeful side coming out again without the Daleks even being in the story. Because of losing Rose, he's really angry. He takes a gun, even though he wouldn't use it. And he has his cheery side when he starts talking to the people in charge of the station. We get that kind of flash of his, the oncoming storm. And then he's got that legendary speech at the end.
It's
No!
What he thinks he's capable of, even though he would never do that. Like, you know that that's something that's happened in his past.
But yeah, and again, I gave another shout out to Murray God for the excellent and underrated OSTs. Apart from the Daleks reveal not being as impactful because of the way it was paced, this episode was like top tier. I loved it.
Yeah, the Dalek reveal is disappointing.
But yeah, that's everything. All we've got now is Parting of the Ways, or Partying of the Ways, as it says in here, and Christmas Invasion. So, anything else you want to say about Bad Wolf before we move on?
To mind.
Sorry, bro, you cut out for a second. I didn't hear what you said.
I said nothing's coming to mind.
Alright, let's just move in, because it is a two-part. It's the same story, just different episodes. So, Parting of the Ways, what are your initial thoughts?
I think it's a wonderful story, again. It's a really good... Again, it's that direct continuation from the first part, which they do really well throughout the series with their two-parters. Especially with the Empty Child Dance. The Parting of the Ways... I'm trying to remember where it picks up from. So
alright, I will go through mine first, because I go in chronological order of the plot, right? So I try to.
Yes, yeah, it's better to start with
So obviously it picks up where it left off. Both the idea and this episode wrap up Bad Wolf immaculately, in my opinion. The pacing was spot on. The stakes were higher than ever before. The tension was enough to give me butterflies. So when I watched this, it's not a joke. I had butterflies watching this the other night. Let's start with the Daleks.
Aww.
Not only is the introduction and explanation of their presence via the Emperor eerie and harrowing, he says, filleted, sifted, pulped, souffled. But it not only sounds gross when he's describing how he made Daleks from dead humans, it actually makes sense when you realize what each word specifically means. I googled these words and I realized specifically what the Daleks had done to make more Daleks out of dead humans. It's horrifying. Like, it's actually pretty, like, harrowing, if you think about it a lot. And again, the menace of the Daleks as an unstoppable force was built on from Dalek without sacrificing the plot. They very could have easily depowered all the Daleks for the plot, but they didn't make any compromise here. We saw how powerful one Dalek was, and there's a lot of callbacks to Dalek that enforce how powerful 1 million Daleks are, or 500,000, whatever the number was in this episode. We see, like, these, you know, this massive army of Daleks flying through space, and then there's another hallway scene which mirrors Dalek, which is excellent. Again, we see the slow-mo bullet-melting shield mirror. We see the Rose, switching from Rose and the Dalek ship to the game station. As it gets more tragic and more intense, we see Jack rounding up civilians to fight and everyone dying. This is the opposite of Dr. Dance's. Well. Everyone in this story dies. There's the lady who is hosting The Weakest Link. Her last words are, "You lied to us, the bullets don't work." And there's just a massacre on floor 0. The rest of the civilians, Jack's like, you know, any more volunteers? I suggest you stay quiet, because they don't even believe the Daleks exist. And then they go there. They go there first, don't they? They go there halfway through the battle, after, like, one of the first, like, corridor scenes, because they concentrate the shield around the top 5 floors. The Daleks start at floor 495 and go up from there, because it's the earliest one they can, like, switch. But they also go down because they figure out the civilians are on floor 0, and we don't see it, we just hear it, but it's harrowing.
Yeah, that's enough though. You don't need to see it.
We see there's, like, glimmers of hope as well. It's not all doom and gloom. There's, like, good rises and falls in, like, you know, victory and defeat. The android takes out 3 Daleks, and another is blinded. Because there are some victories, right? The android defeats 3 Daleks. They get vaporized. There's one Dalek is blinded by the I forget their names, but the man and the woman who were in charge of the station. They, like, one of them blinds them, and then they both immediately die after. Earth is bombed to the point. Yeah, sorry. Earth is bombed to the point where the entire continents change shape. We see this when Linda's the one narrating the battle. We see this because she's basically upstairs. She's on floor 500, looking at a panel in front of Earth, and she's, like, narrating the whole thing. She's kind of the overview we get. And yeah, we see the map change, and it's eerie, because it's like, oh my god, they've wrecked the planet. And eventually Linda dies. It's really tragic. She dies alone. Like, all the humans gradually get wiped out. The Doctor tricks Rose.
You see this, you don't just hear it.
Yeah, the Doctor tricks Rose to going back to her time while this is happening. Jack is backing up. He's the last man standing, as all of the others die fighting the Daleks, with a total of, like, 4 Daleks defeated. About, like, 30 humans.
Once
Linda...
again, it's showcasing the menacing power that is the Daleks.
Just unwavering, relaxed, almost immovable. They're relentless, and they take their time.
Like, they don't need to be fast to be efficient and win.
It's like they're not even trying. And yeah, so Linda's death is really sad, because we hear her scream after the window gets blasted open by the space, you know, Dalek, and we see the Doctor actually react to that one. Like, he actually grimaces in that moment.
Yeah, because he'd had that connection with her, so it hits.
Yeah, and yeah, humanity's basically wiped out, and it's horrifying.
It's sad. But also, it contradicts a previous episode, because we see the end of the world.
Exactly. Well, no, it doesn't. It doesn't. Time is in flux. Time is in flux.
True.
Remember how this episode ends? The Doctor says how they restructured the continents using technology to make it look like Earth from long ago. In End of the World, it's like, you know, Renaissance. So anything could have happened here, and they would have rebuilt it, because we know that happens in the future.
No, but I mean, if all of humanity...
Oh, no, they're not all wiped out. I mean, it's mentioned in the episode that there are colonies who will survive. And not every single human dies on Earth, but it's implied that most of humanity is killed at this point because of how the Daleks just destroy Earth. I'm going to go into characters one at a time here. The Emperor. They survive through me. The Dalek Emperor is one of the best antagonists in this series. Vindictive, egomaniac. I love how he contrasts the Doctor, because he's not just the leader of the Daleks. He has a cult of personality. He's the Stalin of, like, the Daleks, and it makes him more dangerous than ever. I also have to throw in credit to everyone involved in putting the tech together. The Dalek design and CGI of their spaceships in 2005 was both literally and figuratively golden. Iconography essential to the show's return. I love the way they designed that.
I also love how I know the Dalek reveal itself was poor, but the Emperor, that was on.
That reveal was done well. He has a voice line,
okay,
so we hear
Daleks
a voice.
are back, that's cool, and then you hear it and go, hell is that?
Yeah.
And then you see it, and you see
Patience, my brethren.
like, oh my god, he's humongous.
Yeah.
Humongous.
Again, Jack is his usual bombastic self. He's like very stern and focused and commanding when he's with the soldiers, but then he's very, you know, passionate and flamboyant when saying farewell to his friends. He kisses everyone on the lips, Rose and the Doctor. It's the 51st century goodbye smooch is bizarre and endearing, and his charisma is perfect for the warring side of things. Because Jack, when he realizes what's going, Jack realizes what's going on. You know, shortly after the Doctor, he knows that they're not going to get out of this alive, and the Doctor says to him, "Yeah, that's the choice I have to make: die as a human or live as a Dalek. Wipe out all of humanity or let the Daleks invade," which is really, really sad. And he's kind of partly reverted to his war, you know, self.
It's the ultimatum of everybody dies either way. It's just a terrible choice and a much worse choice.
This dichotomy.
Either they all die or they're Daleks.
It says, this dichotomy of light-hearted, adventurous pacifist and traumatized genocidal warrior is the very compelling, especially after everything. And the Doctor chooses the formula, you know, coward, not a killer. You remember that scene with the... He's about to set up, and he's like, coward, every time. Just, oof. Because this is him choosing not to fight the Time War. And it's beautiful, and it's tragic, because it's like, previously... Yeah, we saw him choose the opposite in Dalek. In Dalek, he chooses killer, and he's got the gun and everything, and he's ready to kill, but Rose stops him. Here, he's on his own. Everyone else is dead. Jack just got exterminated. He sent Rose back with the TARDIS to let it, you know, like, rot. And he's like, you know what? Maybe everything has its time. And he just closes his eyes. He gives up. He does something the Doctor would never do, and he actually gives up. He fully expects just to die and just to let the Daleks win. But obviously, this goes against directly what Rose is arguing with Jack and Mickey back in her time. Because the episode backs and forths, right? And we see Rose. The specific thing she says is that it wasn't about the aliens and the space and the planets. It was about not giving up. And it was about, you know, being brave. Hello?
Yes, yeah.
Sure, yeah, take it.
I hate to be a bore. I'm going out at 6.
You go. Wait, I got
gone on a lot longer than I thought it would.
We're almost done. Hold on. Dad, come back.
I know, I'm just letting you know.
Yeah, I know, Sash, I know.
Alright, cool.
Yeah, me neither. I'm gonna have to make more time for these, because this is way more time consuming than I thought it would be.
Yeah,
There's
2
a
hours
lot.
Is not enough.
There's a lot I have to say. I'm gonna give us 4 hours next time. But yeah, I was gonna say also, Rose obviously is the catalyst of this. I love Billie Piper's acting in this episode. Going back to Mickey and Jackie, and you know how desperate she is to go back. You really see like her, you know, her desire and her trust, inspiration, even love for the Doctor, and how in the end, despite everything, because of the actions previously, because of the good in these people, Mickey and Jackie support her. Mickey, when she's about to give up, Mickey's the one who's like, no, we need to keep going. I'm going to help you do this because I care about you, even though, you know, he's still unhappy with her. And Jackie, so Rose going back in time in Father's Day directly impacts this, because she tells Jackie that she was the one who was with Pete when he died, and Jackie's immediately disgusted, but in the end, she admits that Rose was right. This is what Pete would want, and she gets like the big truck, and they use that to finally send Rose back. There's a lot more detail here, but yeah, it's excellent.
In what's now her darkest moment.
Yeah.
And she has that whole, I'm sick of sitting here eating
Bad Wolf is still with Rose back in time. And if she hadn't gone, Bad Wolf would have haunted her forever, because it's still there. But yeah, they're realistic people, and then we get the immediate like ending, which is beautiful, of Bad Wolf, you know, Deus Ex Machina, basically. And it just all comes together beautifully. The resolution, obviously, it's convenient, but it makes sense.
Back Jack.
Again, it's not really a Deus Ex Machina, because the TARDIS's power is supposed to be this super-powered mystery thing, but it was introduced and shown in Boomtown, so it makes sense that Rose would be, like, you know, OP now. The CGI, the cinematography, the pacing all came together into the well-aged production, in my opinion. That's what I put here. And Bad Wolf, she literally sends the letters across time for them to find. And it's weird. She wipes out the Daleks. I bring death and I give life. She revives Jack. It's unclear if she revived anyone else. I don't know if anyone else was revived.
I think it was just Jack, because Jack is key to her.
Yeah, but the others, they stay dead.
Pretty much.
And again, having power like this does create plot holes, admittedly. Why didn't Rose revive everyone else on Earth? Linda could have come back with another Everybody Lives moment that would have solidified the message of the show, but then again, that might have been a bit cheap. You know, if the Doctor was forced to regenerate after absorbing all the power of the time vortex, how is Rose alive and well? Actually, how is he so weak and she is not? That doesn't make sense.
I think he prevented... because he absorbed it all in one go.
She absorbed it, what, gradually?
I think it was affecting her more gradually because she's a human. As a Time Lord, he's stared into the time vortex itself. He knows its power.
Oh, yeah, okay.
So I feel like he would... It's not that it wasn't affecting her, it's that she'd had that power a short time. And that kind of power burns short and bright.
I don't know. He had the power for so much time.
He had no...
Oh,
had
shit.
to just consume the power rather than just hold on
Consume.
to it.
Oh, yeah, they kiss, don't they? It's another
sense?
cathartic resolution that they kiss to
Not
take
just
the
that, but like
power through.
He's not just holding on to the power that he's taken from her.
Yeah.
He has to consume it, and it breaks him apart as a person. So
No, he gives it back to the TARDIS immediately.
Does he not?
Yeah, he immediately gives it back to the TARDIS. Yeah, he extends his arms and it flies back into the TARDIS.
Of course he does.
Yeah, it doesn't. I wrote here, surely he could have given a regeneration Artron energy. And that, you know how, like, Matt Smith's Doctor did it for River that one time to fix her broken hand?
Yes.
I feel like that kind of thing would have made sense. And maybe he did it while she was unconscious, like, retroactively. Because that would heal her, and used his regeneration energy to heal Rose. It makes sense.
Probably in the kiss as well.
Yeah, maybe. But anyway,
I really need to get on rewatching.
The last thing I said is that the regeneration scene at the end was excellent, beautifully directed and written, with a respectful and bittersweet farewell to Christopher Eccleston and the Ninth Doctor. You got the whole like running gag of, I have two heads, Barcelona.
Yeah.
And yeah, I'll stop going on now.
Wacky character changing of, oh my god, it's a new person.
I didn't have time to write notes for the Christmas invasion, but I can talk about that.
Right.
But yeah, is there
anything?
anything?
Talk about the Christmas invasion without me.
Oh, you gotta go now. Is there anything else you want to say before we go? Because Christmas invasion's a bonus. We can skip that.
It's been a pleasure.
Give them that S tier, obviously.
And I will send you my tier list.
Yes, give us the list in the thread.
Now.
Or do you want to just post it in a discussion with a hashtag?
Can do.
But yeah, it's good to collab with you, Tasha, because we don't collab often enough.
Absolutely, yeah. We should do this more often. I'm excited to see the next. If I put it in the Doctor Who tier list chat.
Yeah, go ahead. I'll repost it if you want.
That's my tier list.
Interesting. Okay, I like. Oh wow, it's almost identical to mine. Literally,
really?
I put Long Game in bad. I think that's the only thing that's different. They're literally identical. You weren't even watching the stream, were you?
Oh my, no.
Oh, I put Boomtown higher than you.
Look at chat. I can't see because it's on a phone. I can't see it.
I put Boomtown higher than you, but other than that, they're identical. That's awesome. But yeah, you have fine taste, bro. And I'm glad we had a discussion. I look forward to doing more of these. You're always welcome to return if you want to do the other Doctor Who series. You don't have to, but you can.
I would love to. If I've watched it by then, I don't want to not watch it and then come in blind.
Yeah,
and
do
be like,
rewatch and refresh yourself on the specifics before you come back. I'll do the Christmas Invasion on my own. That's fine.
It's been a pleasure. Christmas Invasion. If I just had to eyeball it, I'd probably say fantastic.
Yeah.
But I don't have time to go into depth.
Yeah.
But yeah.
Alright, bro. Thanks for joining. I'll see you around. Bye-bye.
Bye.
Have a good one. Alright. But yeah, Tasha unfortunately has to go. She's busy. But yeah, if you want to find Potato, she's tagged in the description with Ethan, as always. Lastly, guys, the Christmas Invasion. I know I've gone on and on and on, but there's a lot to say. And, you know, I think Tasha would agree with everything I said, pretty much. So you pretty much got both of our opinion. We grew up on this together, so we have similar opinions, I think. I can't put this on the same list for some reason, because of the way this is split up. But this is the only time this is ever going to be a problem, so it's fine. The Christmas Invasion is a Tennant episode, a Dave episode. So the Christmas Invasion, if I had to put it again, same scale, I would probably give it fantastic. I watched this like last night, so it's fresh in my memory. The thing about the Christmas Invasion is that, you know, Tennant's still finding his footing with the Doctor. So his like personality, it's still very much stilted. Like now he's this, now he's that, now he's this. But that's just like the scripting, directing. It still is great. Rose, Jackie, Mickey, they all have a great character dynamic in this as always, but this is the first time now we're not limited by the character arcs anymore. It's the first one that's just kind of a standalone story, and you don't have the bad wolf anymore. It's just kind of its own thing. And the thing about the Christmas invasion is that I didn't like a lot of the early moments. There was some really ridiculous, contrived, cheesy plot points, like the pilot fish. The pilot fish were never explained properly. They're just used as like a metaphor of like actual pilot fish, the small fish that lead the bigger fish to something. But like we don't actually know what the pilot fish are. Like the Santa things are pilot fish. But that's not like the name of their species or anything. The pilot fish is a concept. That's like calling them scouts. You know, they're scouts. So, like, I don't know if they're supposed to be robots, or if they're Sycorax wearing Santa outfits, or if they're, like, you know, a certain species. Well, they're very weird. They weren't explained properly. Then there's also the fact that they just conveniently appeared when, you know, Rose and Mickey were on their, like, shopping date, and, like, Rose was, like, you know, weirded out with them before they did anything. It just didn't make sense. And then there was, like, the spinning Christmas tree. I love Jackie's line, I'm gonna get killed by a Christmas tree. It's hilarious, but also it's just utterly absurd. Like, I can't take it seriously. It's too much. And I know it's a Christmas episode, so that's kind of things goes to the field. But yeah, it was really stupid, honestly. Everything else, though, was great. The suspense, the tension, the intrigue of the Guinevere 1 probe, the Sycorax being revealed slowly but surely. And more than anything, the high stakes of the Doctor. The Doctor is basically unconscious and just out of it for like half the episode. He wakes up briefly one moment because Rose really needs his help. But like he is like struggling, and it's like another, you know, the Doctor's not around, what do we do? High stakes episode. And while the plot with Rose and the gang is happening, we have like a B plot with Harriet Jones. Harriet Jones is back, and like, you know, she's like part of the news announcement of this like probe into space, and you got like, you know, the science guy as well, I forget his name, and her like crew. And I love seeing her just being like a strong leader in the role and kind of like translating the Sycorax thing and using, you know, working with all these people to find out. And then she has that scene where she's like, okay, what about Torchwood? I know I'm not supposed to know about Torchwood, but if there is a time that we need them, it's now. Because she pleads for the Doctor on live TV to like, if you are here, help us. And he's not, unfortunately. It's really sad. Anyone who knows the Doctor and Rose is watching, like, what are we going to do? We can't do anything. So they ultimately retreat in the TARDIS, and then like Harriet Jones and co are, you know, teleported up to the Sycorax. And, you know, the tea wakes the 10th Doctor up, and it's great. And it's amazing to see him like, oh, I'm a new man. I don't know. It's like, who are you? Oh, I don't know. I mean, the way they used the translating system with the TARDIS as well, like the loop was broken until the Doctor woke up. It's interesting when he's like, oh, who am I? You know, trying to work out himself, just like, you know, talking, figuring things out, looking at everything like a newborn baby, just like experiencing the world. It's like, when I see a big red button, big glowing button that must not be pressed at all times, I'm gonna do this. Again, the blood control idea was a very unique, weird sci-fi thing that I thought was nicely explained. Having 1/3 of the entire world's population go up high and up to ledges where they could jump off and like kill themselves, that was actually horrifying. That didn't scare me as a child, because I don't think I even understood the concept of jumping off a building to kill yourself. But having the blood control basically hypnotize, like, you know, millions, like 2 billion people into suicide was like a really, like, eerie and horrifying thing. Like, seeing all the people, like, hypnotized, just walking around, and, like, their families trying to drag them back. It was really creepy. Until the Doctor reveals that they wouldn't have been able to do it anyway, because, you know, survival instincts are too strong, and he switches it off. So it would never have happened anyway, because blood control can't override survival instincts, so it wouldn't have been possible. The Sycorax were bluffing. And that was quite a relief. Still quite good. But yeah, I like how the Sycorax seem like this dominant, you know, warrior race who just cannot be questioned, and no one can stand up to them. They laugh in the face of Rose trying to imitate the Doctor, like, Article 15 of the Shadow Proclamation, and, like, you know, they kill the, you know, the science guy. You know, it's like, oh, we are like children, please be compassionate. And this military guy's like, oh, you must have rules about warfare. And they just kill them without question. But then the Doctor comes in, and he just absolutely clowns them. And then he, you know, goes through the whole dueling sequence with the Sycorax leader. And, you know, we see his funny side, we see his quirky side. Again, the Doctor dances. We really see his flamboyant, you know, funny side, his charismatic, you know, quirky side come out. But then we also see his, like, serious side and his, like, darker side. You know, no second chance. He uses the Satsuma to kill the Sycorax by throwing him off the ship. The hand growing back, because first 15 hours of regeneration. Again, great little bit of sci-fi that enhances the plot. And The characters were great. The dilemma at the end was really quite, really haunting, because even though it's a good ending and all, seeing how Harriet Jones and the Doctor change was actually really sad. I felt like quite compelled by the plot, because previously, you know, Harriet Jones was seen as a symbol of hope. It's like, oh, the new golden age of Britain, 3 consecutive terms. But the Doctor rewrites history. He changes history from what he said in the previous series, and he uses 6 words, just 6, to destroy Harriet Jones' career, because she obliterated the Sycorax using Torchwood's, you know, special gun. This is the first mention of Torchwood. We don't know what Torchwood is yet this time, but she has this massive laser gun, this Death Star beam that obliterates the Sycorax, despite the fact the Doctor had already got them to retreat and tell other worlds that this planet is protected, and that, you know, they would be gone. And there's this whole social commentary on, oh, we're sending more probes out there, we're being noticed, get used to it. And he's absolutely furious with Harriet Jones. It goes from this, you know, heartfelt, you know, redeeming, Christmassy moment of everyone's like hugging and cheering. We made it, we're safe. And then Harriet orders Torchwood to, you know, destroy the Sycorax so that they can't tell the universe about them. And then we see this vengeful side that it's like, oh, I should have told them the monsters are coming. And it's great, because it's this kind of, this dilemma, this two-sided, central dilemma of, like, the Doctor's view on, humans. Are they, like, fantastic, massive potential, brilliant beings, or are we, stupid apes, monstrous? And it's really sad, honestly. I feel bad, because Harriet Jones, I think she was not... I don't think she should have ordered the laser, but it's just brilliant, because it's a very debatable thing. Like, what's right or wrong, it's very morally questionable, and we sadly see her term ends, like, she basically leaves office shortly after that, so the Golden Age never happens, the 3 consecutive terms never happen, it's really sad, but, the Doctor's, it is what it is, and, I don't know, I think there's an interesting debate there, because on the one hand, you can see that, like, the justification for destroying the Sycorax, but you can also see that it was wrong. But should the Doctor have really gone out of his way to get Harriet Jones, like, out of leadership like that? I think that was not the right thing to do, but... It goes to show his power and how much of a dominant force the Doctor is, because Harriet is a realist. She sees that when the Doctor's not around, there's going to be times like that where we need to defend ourselves, Earth. But he is, like, more powerful than anyone, and he absolutely obliterates her in this scenario, which is, it's really sad. There's a great meta-commentary on the whole, intervention and military relations with the Middle East as well. That was not lost on me. There is a very real and very timely at the time, because this was during, like, Tony Blair and stuff, so that much, meta commentary, I think, on interventionism. I think that might have been kind of connected. And, yeah, other than that, I'm sorry, I know I'm rambling, but I'm on my own now, so this is all I've got to do, but all I can do is ramble. Other than that, I think the ending was pretty sweet. With a nice Christmassy song come in, we see David Tennant, finding his new outfit, the Doctor kind of finding himself, and then having Christmas dinner with Rose, Jackie, and Mickey, and, them kind of reconciling, like, the Doctor proving to Jackie that he is the same person, and not actually to Rose, because the whole conflict of this episode was that Rose didn't even, she was like, I thought I knew him, but I don't know who he is anymore, and the Doctor, is like, oh, yeah, no, actually, I'm just describing the episode now, I'm not ranking it. But yeah, basically, they have this nice character arc that brings them back together closer than ever, and, yeah, it's like the Doctor, reconciles some of the awkward domestic past by having dinner with everybody. It's a Christmas dinner. It's very festive, very British, very wholesome. So it's a good ending. I don't know. I think this episode was a bit hit and miss, but only because it's not as good as some of the greats later on. So I think overall, I would probably put it in the good category. I wouldn't say it's okay. I think Christmas Invasion isn't amazing. I say it's good. It's not fantastic. I don't know. I gave it a 9 out of 10. I thought it had some brilliant meta commentary and stuff, and just great characters, great dynamics and storytelling, but, like, there was a lot of cringy, cliche stuff at the start, and, like, some of it was a bit stilted and slow, and, like, I felt the Doctor was, like, I don't know, it was just, some of it was just, but there was a lot of good stuff as well. See, I'm gonna give that one a good, you can imagine it over here, and, I'm gonna be nice, I'm gonna put the long game in okay. Series 1 did not have a bad episode, this still had its moments. Then again, I could just do this, couldn't I? I could just be a bit stricter. Because, like, what were, like, the GOAT episodes? What episodes went above and beyond? I'd have to say Dalek, Father's Day, The Doctor Dances, and Boomtown. I don't know. I don't know, guys. What do you think? It's hard to say, isn't it? because I just want to fill these out more. But these were more than okay. Those were good. So I'm going to go back to my ranking. It's, you know, this is my honest ranking, guys. First impressions. If you agree, if you disagree, let me know in the comments. I may be right, I may be wrong. But, you know, this is... yeah, this is it. And also, yeah, just replying to Ethan in chat. The Christmas Invasion is an episode I love to rewatch from time to time. It also is quite possibly my favourite 10th Doctor quote. I demand to know who you are. I don't know. Yeah, it's great. Yeah, chat's been kind of dead this stream. I was wondering. I know we don't exactly have a dedicated Doctor Who fan base here, but man, I'm genuinely disappointed. This stream was so dead. So I tell you what I'm gonna do. I'm going to start, you know, really putting out this one. I think once SCP's out of the way, I'm gonna put Doctor Who on the front page of my channel. I'm gonna add timestamps to this so people can jump to each episode, and I'm gonna tell more people about this, because for me, this is like when I did the Fazbear Fright stream with ambience, but for something completely different. Like, in terms of like analysis and debate and discussion, this series is gonna be like these two streams times 10. You know, when Ambience and I went through the Fazbear Fright stories, it's gonna be like that. But yeah, that's my final list. So thank you so much for watching. Again, if you want to make your own tier list, it's linked in the description, as will my collaborators today, Tasha and Ethan. I know this is a bit scuffed, but this means we can plan for better next time. Working out the formula here. No QOTD winner unless someone has a go. I don't know if I can give it to Ethan because he's already credited, so I'll leave it. I can always reuse it. WWF is today's charity shout-out. I don't know what to do for charity shout-outs because the end of the year is coming, so I'm just going back to the ones I did on my charity streams. Guys, you know who WWF is. I'm not even going to tell you. Go to their website. Go check them out. Go support. They're doing Xmas gifts, so that's pretty cool. I'm telling you right now, guys, it's a good cause, but if you want to find out more, you have to go out there, find out for yourself. Go on, click the link. See what they're about. And yeah, my Discord, my social media pages, it's all there. I'm going to tidy up the music credits, I think, and all of that kind of thing. And yeah, we added DDLC music now, which is neat. But yeah, the tier list is there. So like, share, subscribe, do all that stuff. Support's appreciated. And yeah, I will see you guys very soon for something. I don't know. I'm just going to end this stage. And I'm going to go put this in like discussion 1 or something. I'll make a post after the stream. But yeah, we're done. And that was just series 1. There is a lot more to come. And I'm very excited to see it. I hope you are too. Again, I want to make these like a regular thing over the course of the next year up to the 60th anniversary of Doctor Who. So, yeah, that's everything. Quiet stream, dead stream, took 3 hours. I'm going to give us 4 hours next time. These are going to be big streams from now on. This was just kind of finding our feet. The same way Series 1 was finding its feet. But, again, I don't think any Doctor Who series matches Series 1 in terms of arc structuring, the character arcs, the plot arcs. Every single episode had so many connections and tie-ins and linkages and effects on future episodes, and it's immaculate. It's absolutely phenomenal how well written and how well structured everything was. But also, like, the characters were just brilliantly compelling. There was a lot of good messages, and a lot of the stories as standalones are also just really enjoyable and you know, well made. I know I'm very generous with these rankings, but quite frankly, this is some of the best TV ever made. This is up there with Breaking Bad. You know, it's up there with, what else is critically acclaimed? Not Stranger Things. I feel like that's not quite. What's on like Breaking Bad level? You know, like The Walking Dead maybe? I know that's very popular. I don't know. Popular doesn't mean good. I'm trying to think of stuff I've actually seen. I'd say like Sherlock, but that's not. Out of stuff I've actually seen, nothing really compares, so. I don't know. I'm gonna go though, guys. I'm leaving. We're done. So, that was fantastic. You know, that stream was absolutely fantastic. And you know what? So was I. So, yeah, thank you so much for watching. Like, share, subscribe, and stay hydrated. I'll see you all next time, alright? We're going to be doing Minecraft tomorrow, actually, so it's perfect that the Minecraft song came on. This is literally called Minecraft. I'm doing Minecraft tomorrow. Very excited for that stream. We're doing a big challenge. Yeah. I'm going to go set that up. I got to go. Thanks so much for watching, and stay hydrated.